The Jason Gregor Show.
Back up top. Here's Lane Hudson. He'll flip one across. Slavkovsky takes it high. Uri Slavkovsky creates some space and feed. Score! 100-point season for Suzuki.
On Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Great work with Andrew. Getting those guys. I love the
Oh, hey, look at that.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to cause me to take the face off.
And Sid just snapped that back.
Well, a lovely Monday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a fantastic day as we have 4 days left in the National Hockey League season. And man, is there lots yet to be decided. Playoff spots, 3 teams in the East are battling for one spot. Philly, Washington, and the Blue Jackets. Philly, of course, is in the driver's seat. 2 points guarantees. If they win one of their final 2, they are in. But if they only get a point and Washington wins, then Washington's in. Or if the Flyers lose both and Columbus wins their game, and Columbus and Washington, somebody's going to win. That's what we know for sure because they're playing each other. And that'll be fantastic. The Flyers playing tonight against Carolina. That could add some intrigue if the Hurricanes can win tonight. If the Hurricanes win, they will lock up first place in the Eastern Conference. In the West, there are 2 spots left in the playoffs. Anaheim currently sitting third in the Pacific, 90 points. Edmonton also has 90, but Edmonton has more regulation wins than Nashville. People wondering why the Ducks aren't with the X. It's because the Ducks play Minnesota tomorrow and then Nashville on Thursday. If the Ducks lose in regulation tomorrow night, now, of course, Nashville has to win tonight. Doesn't matter if it's regulation or not. Just win against San Jose. Then they would move to within 2 points of the Ducks. The Kings playing tonight against Seattle. They're on the road in Seattle, in Vancouver, in Calgary. The Kings could win all 3 of their games and still get home ice advantage. Because if the Kings win all 3 of their games, the Oilers have to get 3 points out of 4 this week against Colorado and Vancouver. So there's still a chance, as crazy as it is, that the Oilers and the Kings could meet in the playoffs and the first round again. Wow. I know I see some Kings. Oh, yeah, they want to play them again. Like, I don't know. What you saw from the Kings, nothing changes. We just saw them against the Oilers on Saturday night. That's how LA plays. It's not going to change. That's how they play. And they kind of want to play a boring style, maybe capitalize on a few mistakes. Okay. And you know what? It worked on Saturday. But can it work when you have Hyman and Draisaitl in the lineup? It's harder. Now, Hyman, I fully expect to be ready for game 1. Draisaitl, I said this last week. I'd be surprised if he's ready for game 1. I think it comes in the series. Dickinson, what's interesting on the Dickinson injury, from my understanding, is so he took the shot. Everybody saw it off the ankle. Now, it can be a bone bruise. Maybe it's hairline fracture. My understanding was he was in a walking boot for a few days. Now he's out of one. That's good sign. It's progressing. But the reason there's no timeline, because Hyman, he's possibility. Hyman might even play Thursday. We'll see. But Draisaitl's definitely not playing tonight or Thursday. Max Jones is out 3 to 4 weeks. Dickinson, they said there's no timetable. They'll reassess after the regular season. And the reason that is because I get a sense his injury is going to be all about pain threshold. And you can't put a timeline on pain threshold. And it doesn't mean that you aren't tough enough to play game 1 of the playoffs just due to pain. There's mobility, pain, because if it's an ankle, and let's just say it's a bad bone bruise, you try to freeze the ankle. It's different than if, remember when you have bruised ribs or something, you can freeze that and not feel it. Doesn't limit your mobility that much. Ankle, totally different. I understand it. You freeze the ankle, that's going to limit your mobility a bit. And because like ankle flexion's rather important in skating. So you probably guys got to play. Maybe you take a Tylenol, sure, but you got to play through the pain. And depending on how much it is, like there's still only a level of pain that any person can play with. So I think that's why they haven't given a specific timeline on Dickinson, because you don't really know. Because it's kind of varies from person to person. How's it healing? All that stuff. So that's where the injury front is. Welcome to the Gregor Show, as always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website, where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. Host of games in the National Hockey League tonight. For your pleasure, of course, this might be the busiest Monday of the year. 10 games tonight. Ones that have playoff implications. Tampa Bay for seeding, as Tampa, Buffalo, and Montreal are still batting for first, second, and third in the Atlantic Division. And still technically first overall in the East if the Hurricanes lose in regulation to the Flyers. You also have other games with playoff, the Sharks, Predators. That one's big. The Sabres are in Chicago. Of course, the Oilers here at home to the Avalanche, Kings, and the Kraken. And the Jets in Vegas to take on the Golden Knights. The Winnipeg Jets are still hanging around. You're telling me there's a chance. They need to win all three of their games, and they need the Kings to only get 1 point. Unlikely, right? It's probably tonight could be the final nail for them. Same with the San Jose Sharks. The Sharks would have to win all three of their games and hope that LA only picks up 1 point in three. Possible, yes. Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. So it's really going to come down to the Kings or the Predators, and even the Ducks. Man, the Ducks they're floundering a little bit. So and now Minnesota has nothing to play for. They can't catch Dallas. They're not going to get caught. They're locked in the third spot. Maybe they rest some guys tomorrow. We'll see. But that's the playoff picture thing. NBA playoff picture. Who doesn't? I don't care. I don't care. I never understand people who say you might not like the NBA. That's no problem. But playoffs are playoffs, man. And the NBA now, their play-in tournament begins first, right? You will have the number 7 Suns taking on the number 8 Trailblazers. Meanwhile, the Clippers, number 9, and Warriors. Now, the winner of the 9-10 game stays alive, and they play the loser of the 7-8 game. So the Suns and the Trailblazers, whoever wins, they get the number 7 seed in the West, and they'll take on the Spurs. In the East, you've got the 76ers and the Orlando Magic. Whoever wins that game takes on the Celtics. As the number 2 seed, the loser will take on the winner of the Hornets and Declan's Miami Heat. So we'll see. The Raptors back in the playoffs for the first time in 4 years. They're the number 5 seed. They will take on the Cavaliers. Also, the Hawks are taking on the Knicks. In the West, the Nuggets moved up to the number 3 seed. Them and the Timberwolves. That should be a good series. And the Lakers and the Rockets. Who's ever that number 8 seed who gets in, taking on the Thunder. Oof, good luck. Number 17 taking on the Spurs. Clippers, Warriors, Suns, Trailblazers. I don't know if any of them can even win a game against the Thunder or the Spurs. Those two teams are really, really good. But it's playoffs, man. And who doesn't love playoffs? If you're a hockey fan, Sherwood Park Crusaders moved on in the BCHL. So good for them. The WHL playoffs continued on. Of course, we talked about last week. Unfortunate end to the season for the Oil Kings, and the team they beat, the Saskatoon Blades. They're trailing 2-0 to PA. Now, had Edmonton won, they would have been playing Medicine Hat, and Medicine Hat is up on Calgary 2-0. Everett leads Kelowna 2-0, and Prince George over Penticton 2-0. So not a lot of drama so far. The only difference is the Penticton Vs were the high seed, and they lost both their games at home. The other ones all won their games at home. So not great that way. Golf, speaking of playoffs, wasn't a playoff. It was a major. Rory McIlroy, only the fourth golfer all time to go back to back at the Masters. Jack Nicklaus, 65 and 66. Sir Nick Faldo, 1990 and 1989. Tiger Woods in the early 2000s went back to back, and now Rory McIlroy goes wire to wire. Last year, he finished at 11 under. This year, he finishes at 13 under par and gets the victory. So, other news in notes in the sporting world, there's lots of debate. It's going to rage on. I think it's a great discussion. And for the Norris Trophy, you've got Bouchard. He's in there. Werenski's in there. Makar's in there. I think Lane Hudson is the guy who's going to get you some votes. Some people have Rasmus Dahlin. Yeah. Mo Siders had a really good year. Quinn Hughes had a good year. I think there's guys who have a better season than Quinn Hughes this year because you have to include his numbers in Vancouver. You can't ignore them. And so I think that's why I don't think he'll be there. Darren Radish has had a great year. Like, there's lots of good defense. It's going to be interesting to see kind of how the voting plays out. I don't know if we're going to see a real, clear-cut winner. Although last year, I thought Werenski and Makar were incredibly close, and Makar run going away. And it really, when you crunch all the numbers between the two of them last year, it was kind of surprising to me that Makar won by that much. So we'll see. Does that mean Werenski now is going, he didn't win last year. I think I want to win him this year. Some people have that. I try not to have that influence my voting at all. I only look for this year. Werenski's definitely had a good year. Bouchard's had a good year. Hudson's had a good year. Makar's had a good season. Right now, Hudson, Bouchard, and Makar, the one thing they all have in common is they have high-end offensive guys on their team. 50-goal scorer in Caulfield, 100-point guy in Suzuki for Hudson. You got McKinnon and soon-to-be 100-point guy Natchez for Makar. You got Draisaitl and McDavid for Bouchard. Werenski, where's different for him is he's the leading scorer on his team. His leading scoring forward has 67 points, whereas guys in Edmonton, Colorado, Montreal, they all got 100-plus points. So that is something you have to consider, right? How you weigh it's going to depend on each voter. But it is definitely something. There's never one thing, right? Like, you look at other statistics. Like, I saw people talking about, well, hey, when Kevin BX says on national TV that Makar is the only one who kills penalties, and you're like, well, him and Bouchard kill the exact same amount of penalties. Like, you can't say something like that. That's just, if you want to say, I like Makar better on the penalty kill, okay, fine, then back it up. But you can't say he's the only one who kills penalties when him and Bouchard have played the exact same amount of minutes. And the difference is Bouchard has actually been on the ice for more penalty killing minutes. The most on his team, 144. Makar averages the third most, but has played the fourth most now because he's missed a few games. But usually he's third most. Odd, Colorado takes more penalties. Because Edmonton, Edmonton gets scored on, so some of their penalty time is a little bit longer, right? That factors into it, for sure. Then you throw in, I find it, people want to look at the penalty kill numbers and be like, yeah, if you have bad penalty kill numbers, okay. But then they ignore the power play numbers. You can't do it. You got to look at both. If you're going to look at penalty kill, then you have to look at the power play. But what I find interesting is they'll be like, wow, if you have good power play numbers, anybody could be on the Oilers power play and have good numbers, which I think is somewhat disrespectful. Well, that's like saying, well, anybody could kill on the penalty kill on Colorado if you get penalty kill numbers like their goaltenders give you. What's the difference? Honestly. Right? Like, I try not to pick one and say, here's the winner for this one, because some guys lead in some categories, other guys lead in other categories. Bouchard obviously has the most points. And you can't discount points. In the history of the Norris Trophy, points has mattered. Now, it doesn't mean you always win. I think some Oilers fans have misrepresented that. It doesn't mean because he's number one in points, he automatically wins. It's not the case. Roman Josi had 96 points back in 2022. He was the first defenseman to score 90 points in a season since 1994. It had been almost 30 years a guy hadn't done it, and he still didn't win. Super close vote, though, by the way. Like crazy close between him and Makar. It was kind of odd that, Makar had 92 first place votes. Yossi had 98. Makar had 98 second place votes. Right, so basically guys who voted Yossi 1 had Makar 2 on pretty much every one of their ballots. But then people who had Makar first, they had Yossi second, but only 76 times, and they had him third or fourth. And that was really the difference in why he lost. So it's kind of wild. And I do have an article. It's coming out tomorrow. If you like long reads, you want to see the history of the Norris Trophy. And it's not an opinion piece. It's a historical piece. It tells you all the numbers. Then you can weigh it, because even if you look at this year's group, you can debate it, and it'll be a fun debate. But if you think 1 point is like this shows the guy wins, trust me, I've looked at it up, down, sideways, because I'm a voter. And there is not one statistic that says, this is why he should win. You're going to have to take all of it. And even then, I can look at all the numbers. Connor Halley can look at all the numbers, and we probably could still come to a different conclusion on because which number do you value more? Do you value penalty killing time? Do you value goals against goals 4 or 5 on 5? Do you take on minutes against elite? Do you take on offensive numbers? Do you take on teammates? There's all sorts of things. And that's how it plays out. So I think it's probably one of the tightest races in quite some time in multiple. Now, there's been others. There was a race. I can't remember the year because I did it for like 40 years. But there was a year we had 3 guys. First place, 35 votes. The other guy had 33. The other guy had 32. 3 guys that close in first place. I could see something like that happening again this year between Renski and Bouchard, and Lane Hudson's going to get votes, and Makar's going to get some votes, and I think Darlene's going to get some votes. So should be a lot of fun. Lots of other guys are going to get votes. I'm talking like 1 or 2, first or second, which will be tough. So, hey Gregor, what are the PK times for the leaders? Well, Bouchard and Makar each at 144. And then you have Werenski at 91, Darlene's at 91. Lane Hudson is, I got to look it up. I think he's at like 78 or something like that. So, and like Quinn Hughes is at 8. And that's why I don't have Quinn Hughes in, but I don't have Quinn Hughes in for a lot of other reasons. Just look at his goals for, goals against. I look at his goal scoring total compared to all the other guys. Like he's just below all of them in every category. So for me, I don't think I'll have Quinn Hughes even in my top 5. I think there's 5 guys others. Now the top 5 one is tough and how they're going to rank. And I won't fill out my ballot until the end of the regular season. Because as tight as it is, 2 really good games or 2 bad games could change the numbers a little bit. That might say all of a sudden this guy was leading here and here and here, and now all of a sudden he's leading here. So that'll factor in for sure. Coming up on the show today, we will hear from Kevin Woodley. Gabe Locke will join us, talk MLB. Oof, the Jays. How much trouble are the Jays in? The good news, their division is average right now. It's average. It leads with 8 and 7. The Jays are 2 points back at 6 and 9. That's the thing that benefits them right now. They're off to a bad start, but no one in their division's running away with it. Jamie Thomas will join us. The Winnipeg Jets dare to dream. They're on life support, but maybe they got a chance. Gene Principe, Corey Massasak will join us from Denver. We got Speck. Cam, take the 2-minute warning. We'll get to our stats of the day, 5 questions, and much, much more. Sean Brown is ill today, under the weather. So, Brownie, taking time off. Now, I heard from a source he's got a man cold. It's like he's got the black lung, Connor Halley. Who knows? Con man, how you doing? How was your weekend?
It was good, Jason. Yeah, lots of good sports. Love sitting down on Sunday watching the end of the Masters with the little guy, and really enjoyed it. The weather getting good too. How about yours?
But it was great. I introduced my son to Dumb and Dumber. Watched Dumb and Dumber on the weekend.
Did it hold up? The new generation?
There was quite a few lines that he was laughing at that he thought was pretty funny, and he really thought like just when I think you can't get any dumber, you totally redeem yourself. Oh, he thought that was classic. So there was there were some pretty good lines in that movie that were hilarious. He didn't know who Cam Neely was, so I explained it to him. He's a big NHL star. He's trying to say it'd be like, because there's not a 50-goal scorer like Cam Neely in today's NHL. The guy who would fight and is big and tough. But I said, like, think if I could, he was Tom Wilson who scored more goals. That's basically what I amounted to. So he's like, oh, okay. And kind of like, well, so how come more NHL players aren't in other movies? And I was like, well, good question. And Marty McSorley. So I was kind of going through it. Marty McSorley, of course, was in a few. It's not a lot, right? Like, I know there's some guys who had parts in other movies, but didn't speak very much. So am I missing any? Because there's no recent movie with a hockey player, which is kind of funny considering there's way more social media now that if athletes wanted to get out there and be known a little bit more, they could. But I can't remember one. Maybe I'm missing it. Anybody out there? Has there been a hockey player, a bit role in a movie in the last 10 years? Cons, do you know of one?
I mean, like LaRock was in Goon. Modano and Basil McRae were in Mighty Ducks. But
yeah, but
like
that's long.
seconds.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
I remember we had Brent Burns on when he was in Vikings.
That's true. He was in the Viking show.
But that's about all I got, I think.
Yeah. So there you go.
Who would be a good actor now? Current NHLer? Who do you think?
Well, you got to go with the guy with some personality.
Yeah.
Right? Like Brad Marchand. Because Brad Marchand with his teddy bear commercials, actually pretty funny. I think Marchand is a guy who could play a role. He's well known in lots of different places. People kind of know he is. Right now, I know people aren't going to like it, but Matthew Tkachuk, he's got a face that people want to punch. He's won 2 cups. They won the Olympics. He's an outspoken guy. He's probably someone that people would relate to a little bit, depending on it, right? Like Brady Tkachuk could probably play a fool in a movie fairly easily. So, yeah, those would probably be the ones, you'd think. But there's always someone that might surprise you, and obviously it's going to be in a bit role here. We're not talking a key role. I think, Quinn Hughes maybe. Leon Draisaitl, probably his personality, he could do it. So, we'll see.
The Entourage movie had Jarrett Stoll.
What?
Mike Richards, Jeff Carter, Trevor Lewis. Yeah, just at a party. At
yeah, they're at the party, but there was no speaking role.
Yeah, very
right?
mable. Yeah, okay. Hanging out, having a beer.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Kevin Woodley. We're going to break down. It's the final week. A few goaltending questions for teams. We'll get to those and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
As we all try to figure out when winter will actually stop and spring will finally be here for the season, GS Construction moves ahead with their plans for the year. From planning and digging to laying out underground infrastructure, construction season is limited, so we make every day count. And that's why GS Construction counts on our team to get the job done right. Crews are getting back in action across the city, and we'd like you to join us. We're looking for experienced top men, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhauk beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win games with salad.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk. .com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So sit on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill. Still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell, and we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me, GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy, because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Oh, Canada. Jiffy Lube is here to keep you moving through mornings like these. Full synthetic oil changes, quality Pennzoil products, tire checks, battery tests, and everything else your car needs to get through our winters. Stop by Jiffy Lube for fast, easy, warranty-approved service. No appointment, no hassle. Just dependable service right when you need it. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving through this.
Let's do it.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Looking for a tasty lunch? Papa John's has you covered. Get a small 2-topping pizza for only $9.99 with code S999 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Tone Loke for you on a Monday afternoon. Game day, oh baby. April, another great month in sports. Masters just happened. Everybody's getting in the golf swing of things. You had some driving ranges open on the weekend. We have more snow melting. Hopefully some courses, get dried up. They can get ready to roll here. Some of you can increase your frustration level, which you seem to love to do by getting on the course. So that'll be great. Now, let's talk some goaltending, some hockey, as we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Spruce Grove Saints. Just want to thank all of their sponsors and all their fans for their continued support of the Saints. It's sgsaints.ca. As Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com joins us once again. Woodley, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. I did appreciate the Wild Thing pulled there. Little Tone Loke. Like, I'm old enough to have been in high school when that came out, so that brought back some memories. Thank you to Connor for that,
buddy. It is a great song. Let's start. Colorado's in town, so I want to get your thoughts on who do you think they would start in game one of the playoffs, and then who should they start?
Well, let me ask you who's starting tonight, because I wasn't.
Wedgwood is starting tonight.
Okay, so I don't know who they're going to start. You talk to people around that team, you listen to the interviews around that team, and it feels like they want Blackwood to be the guy. And you're not, we've had this discussion in the past. You know, Jason, I'm a pretty big Mackenzie Blackwood guy. We've talked about the skill set he brings, the size he brings. Like, there's sort of this number one pedigree that he comes with, from a eye test standpoint and a history standpoint that Colorado seems to believe in as well. And yet, when I look at the numbers since the Olympic break, These two guys are on very opposite ends of the spectrum. Now, Blackwood's had, I think, 3 starts in a row that have been better. And maybe that's enough to give him that job back. Like I said, it feels like the organization, for lack of a better term, wants to make fetch happen with him. But when you look at the numbers since the Olympic break, you might suggest not to, because Wedgwood is the best and Blackwood up until these past 3 starts was the worst, or in the bottom 3 since the Olympic break performance. I throw a bunch of numbers at you all the time, adjusted save percentage. This is the best way I can put it. Since the Olympics, the difference between the two is roughly 9 goals on every 100 shots. Imagine choosing a guy who is almost a goal every 10 shots worse on purpose. Now, I believe in the skill of Mackenzie Blackwood. I believe in the upside of Mackenzie Blackwood. I like the trade for them. But for whatever reason, since the Olympics, and maybe there's enough runway here, because like I said, the last 3 starts have been better. He's climbing out of that basement. But when the other guy's the best in the league in that stretch, it's going to be interesting to see how they manage it, if indeed they do go with Blackwood out of the gate, and then how long that leash is, because Scott Wedgwood has been incredible.
So since the Olympic break, Wedgwood has the best, and Blackwood's obviously near the bottom. So basically that's 9 more goals allowed on 100 shots, right? This is not expected. This is actual goals, right, Kev?
No, this is expected, based on environment. This is expected. Okay. But I always throw like Wedgwood is, and I got to sort of filter here, but I was looking this up late last week for a hit, and Wedgwood is 5% above expected. So on every 100 shots, he's 5 better. And Blackwood was close to 4 below on every 100 shots. So you add those 2 up and sort of look at the difference. And it was just the easiest way to sort of, rather than throwing, +5, -4, what does that really mean? Well, what it really means is you're talking about 9 goals every 100 shots between the two. And like I said, Blackwood's last couple of games have been better. He's up to about -2.4%. So with that in mind, Wedgwood at +5.2, you're closer to a little under 8 goals every 100 shots now, but that's still a massive difference between the two. Small as that sample is, to purposely choose the one on the bottom end of the scale. And it'll be fascinating to see if that's how they go.
So Westwood has been the best in the NHL since the Olympic break, and it will be fascinating to see. You're right, because you go with the guy who, kind of the guy you signed and acquired because you thought he'd be your starter, or the guy who's playing better. So that'll be something to watch for. Maybe not good news for the Oilers as they take on a red-hot Wedgwood tonight, as the Oilers, they don't need a win, but man, they need a win if they want to stay in and try to avoid Colorado, because a loss tonight and an LA win, then, LA's 2 points closer to you. There's a chance that maybe you could slide out and suddenly be the 8th seed, which the last thing the Oilers want to be is the 8th seed. I would think in the first round for sure. So,
and LA and Seattle tonight. So that's shouldn't be a tough task. And then here in Vancouver tomorrow night, it's back to back. And here's an interesting thing for you when you talk about goaltending decisions. Have you been paying attention to who LA is starting in most of these must-win games down the stretch? It's been Anton Forsberg ahead of Darcy Kemper. And again, when we talk about numbers, especially since the Olympic break, it's been Forsberg who's been, head and shoulders above Darcy Kemper. It's not quite to the degree of the Colorado situation, but it's a significant difference. Again, Anton Forsberg since the break +2.5%, Darcy Kemper -2.5. So there's 5 goals every 100 shot difference between the two. And you got a guy who was at the Olympics with Team Canada, a guy who's a Vezina Trophy finalist last year, is now sitting out for a guy I think a lot of us would sort of, maybe not us, but a lot of people might throw the journeyman label at. So that's another one worth watching, not just down the stretch here in terms of where the playoff position is decided, but if this is how you feel in the final 2 weeks of the season, how is it not how you feel in the first game of the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Yeah. Because to me, and we talked to guys in LA, and they thought Forsberg had kind of taken over the number 1 starting job, and he got the start in a big game against the Edmonton Oilers. And now they do play Seattle and Vancouver, so obviously they're going to split tonight and tomorrow. And if Forsberg gets that Calgary game, then maybe we kind of get a sense of who it is. Some other teams, if you look at, what do you think Minnesota's going to do?
It's a good question. I hope, because I spent about 6 hours breaking down his game over the weekend for my playoff project, because that matchup is locked in. And I went with Philip Gustafsson. I think the experience wins out. I think if you see the way they've handled this down the stretch in terms of the split between the two, they've leaned more towards Gustafsson. Listen, Jesper Wallstedt has been an incredible story as a rookie goaltender. I know a lot of goalie coaches around the league that really, really like his game. He has also had a quote unquote a higher expected save percentage than Gustafsson on the years. I don't know if that's just the way the team plays in front of him, the starts he's getting, but it is a noticeable difference. He's also never experienced playoffs. Philip Gustafsson hasn't had any success in them. But if you look at his save percentage through his 2 attempts, it doesn't look like it's entirely on him. This feels very much like we go with our guy, but maybe the leash is short, because the reality of the last couple of times he's been on the international stage with this type of pressure is Gustafsson hasn't been able to finish the job for Sweden. Obviously at the Olympics, losing out to Jacob Markstrom and having some tough starts. I would argue that the Minnesota Wild might be a better defensive environment than what the Swedes give him in a best on best. So, maybe that's enough. But to me, that's a Gustafsson starts, and let's see how long the leash is if it doesn't go well in what is going to be a brutal first-round matchup for those two teams against the Dallas Stars.
Well, yeah, but the Stars, man, injuries. Rupe Hintz, maybe Heiskanen, but that could be some massive blows for them. Now, Minnesota, of course, hasn't won a playoff round forever. They've lost their last 8 playoff rounds, which is wild to me. So we can get into that. What about the Carolina Hurricanes? And I know Brandon Bussy's starting tonight. They play back-to-back. And, so they win tonight, then they've secured first place in the East, and so they can rest some other guys. But he's their starter. Where are you on the goaltending of the Hurricanes heading into the playoffs?
Well, let's just say that in a week that is not going to have much sleep as I try to get through all 16 teams and chart their goaltending, I'm leaving Carolina for last, Jason, because I don't know. And I'd love to get an indication, because I don't feel like having to break down both, given the amount of time required to look at 100 goals on each guy. There are very notable differences in style and approach between these two. We've talked about this before, how tough it is in Carolina. It's funny, I had a goalie that I was breaking down in another Eastern Conference team, and his breakaway goals were like really high. And I'm like, wow, I wonder if he's seen the most. I wonder if that's because he's seen the most breakaways in the league. So I looked it up, and no, there was Freddie Anderson, despite being in a job share, had actually seen more one-on-one opportunities than this other guy who was a workhorse number one. And again, we've talked about this. Carolina is not a lot of quantity, but a lot of quality, and it's a tough way to live. And so Anderson is a lot more sort of technically sound, positionally reserved, like he doesn't play aggressively, and Bussy's the opposite way. Like he'll throw you different looks, he'll do half butterfly saves, he'll charge out at you aggressively, cut off paths. He had a lot of success early this season. The numbers have come back down to earth, and I genuinely have no way of knowing which way they go. I will say, regardless of who they choose as the starter, and especially given Freddie Anderson's injury history, I would expect to see both during the playoff run, especially if they get out of the first round. I mean, it's just, I suggested it in the past, they ignored it, and Anderson would start great and the wheels would fall off as sort of the starts mounted up and the playoffs went on. Now there's a third wrinkle here. And honestly, I could see this too. That's how uncertain it is. The guy who had the best numbers was Pyotr Kochetkov. And my God, he is back playing in the American Hockey League as of this weekend after having hip surgery during this season. He's back. And if he were to find his form and be healthy and feel good about it, would not be shocked if he ends up playing for the Carolina. Again, especially if they go past one round. So I think there is also an element here. The pre-scouts that I do, and I love that the NHL not only allows me to do them, but makes it worth my while to spend as much time. At the same time, when I talk to goalie, this stuff matters, but maybe a little less than it did 5 years ago, because it's all about getting to your offense versus trying to tailor it towards the other goalie. Like if we create the chances we succeed on, we're going to have success versus, boy, this goalie feasts on these, we better try something else. Like that seems to be the prevailing mindset around the league. And again, a bit of a shift. But if there's any team in the NHL right now that can throw more of a different look by switching their goaltenders, it's the Carolina Hurricanes, like completely different styles. Whereas Minnesota, One to the other, I don't think you change much. Carolina, massive difference.
Massive.
Colorado too, a little bit. Yeah.
And obviously Dobush is the guy in Montreal. So you've got guys like Dobush, you've got Buffalo, and some guys, their first opportunities in the playoffs. Kev, when you track all your numbers, as Kevin Woodley joined us, on goaltenders, have you seen, is there any correlation to first-time goalies and struggles in the playoffs?
It's a really good question, and one I probably should have a deeper think on before I start filing these towards the end of the week. I think that as playoffs go, I think there can be an element of uncertainty at the start of the playoffs against guys. Like, as much as these pre-scouts may not be the end-all be-all of how a team attacks a guy, they're, for a new goaltender coming in for the first time, the truth is there are a handful of players that dig into this stuff. But the majority on, say, you mentioned Buffalo, like a Tuesday night in Buffalo, next stop's Toronto on Thursday. I don't know that they're digging into the, high glove versus low glove, make them do this, make them do that, as much as they do in the playoffs. As playoffs go on, your tendencies are exposed to the nth degree. Nothing breaks down a goaltender like a run in the Stanley Cup playoffs, which is part of what makes what Jake Ottinger's done, getting to 3 straight Western Conference Finals, despite that, remarkable. We saw it with Archer Shelovs here in Vancouver, right? Like, Edmonton wrote the book as that second round series went on, and they started to shift away from, hey, let's not try and beat him with backdoor pretty, because guess what? He's athletic as all can be, and he's making all these momentum-changing saves, and we're behind in the series. Let's start throwing pucks from the point, because it doesn't look like he's figured out how to manage NHL traffic. And they went from 1 point, if I remember top of my head, 1.2 screenshot attempts per game through the first 4 games of that series to 5.2 over the final 3. And it wasn't just that they won the series in part because of it, but the next year in the first game of the season, Archer Shelovs faced the Calgary Flames, and I know firsthand their pre-scout was to attack them with long shots from the point and traffic to the net. They scored a couple of goals and basically started his entire first full season in the NHL off on the wrong foot, and other teams in the Western Conference followed suit. And I think some of the success he had early this year in Pittsburgh was Eastern Conference teams not having the same book and not doing the same things. And as the season's gone on, we're seeing more and more of it, and the success has come back down to earth.
Yeah. I look at now, lastly for you is for matchups. And, you talk about certain teams and maybe their tendencies and then goaltending tendencies. Like Vegas, I don't know if Adin Hill, Kevin, has given you more reason to be confident or less lately by his play. Dostal just faces too many quality chances in Anaheim, I think, unless they're suddenly going to change that. I think I just don't like the Ducks' chances in the playoffs. Connor Ingram's numbers have been very good once the Oilers decided to play some defense here. And then you look at Forsberg. So just in the Pacific, of those 4, is there a matchup where you'd look and say, man, I think this would actually be a big advantage for one team in goal?
Well, if it was Adin Hill in Vegas, then it would be whoever's playing him, because it's just been a struggle. You saw it even in Seattle the other night. I mean, the Seattle Kraken are not a team that scores a lot, and they managed to come back in that one and force overtime and win in a shootout. But I don't think it's going to be Adin Hill. I think it's going to be Carter Hart all the way since he's come back from the injury. And honestly, that could be a real wild card, because Carter had success at the beginning of this season, had the injury, things were tailing off for him, but he's right back to well above expected, a tiny sample, but since coming back here, including obviously a big win in Edmonton. I liked his game here in Vancouver, despite giving up what he admitted to me was a terrible goal on the one he did, just got ahead of himself and anticipated a pass rather than actually tracking the shot and basically put it into his own net off his blocker. So, he's been, I think for the most part, he's been really good. And that could be a game changer for a Vegas team that has great underlying numbers. Forsberg could change things for LA, but I'm kind of with you on Anaheim. We know how good Dostal has been. You've seen it in Edmonton firsthand, many occasions. He's a guy that at his best can leave you second guessing what you're doing and change a series. But they are just so porous. They give up so much.
Yes.
None of those underlying numbers are the type that have me thinking, wow, look out for the Anaheim Ducks. We talk a lot about sort of 5-on-5 high danger expected goals against as a key metric for playoff matchups. Anaheim is 29th in the National Hockey League in that regard. They are not a team, when you look at that number, that scares you. Sorry, since the Olympic break, 29th. They're not a team that scares you on a number that tends to matter a lot come playoff time. And actually, I just changed the filter, Jason. They're 29th on the season as well. Another team that again, I think a lot of people are excited about. I hate to do this to our Canadian and Canadian fans, but I'm telling you, as good as Dobish has been, and Jacob Fowler, as good as he's going to be and is right now, and as much as their goaltending's really stabilized since, ironically, the goalie coach switch, they're another team that's bottom third in the league, 24th overall in that 5-on-5 high danger chance against. And it's the metric where you're just giving away goals.
Yeah.
Nashville, another one in the West, that like when you're down there, the Islanders, not that they're going to make it probably because of that, and Buffalo too. Those are teams that I think people have a lot of high expectations. And when I look at that metric, I'd temper them.
Yeah. Well, especially if they get Tampa Bay, like, I'm sorry. It's like,
well, there's a team that knows how to flip that switch. And frankly, that same metric, number one in the National Hockey League on the season, the Tampa Bay Lightning. As much as Vasilevsky deserves some love and will probably, with Sorokin coming back to the pack, I think I said it on your show a couple of weeks ago, like, if the GMs don't give Sorokin the Vezina, I want to take away their right to vote. I might have to eat my words on that one, and I will, because he has absolutely come back to the pack. Still more than double the goals saved above expected relative to Vasilevsky, but I think when you look at wins, I have a hunch he's going to end up being the winner. And yet, so much of it, as I just talked about the underlying numbers, is the way Tampa defends in front of them. And yet, when they didn't last year, he couldn't bail them out. He's playing really well, and they're playing this way defensively. Like, this has the makings, to me, of a Tampa team that could go on a run. Now, the irony is they could also end up, can they get first place still in the East? Because the other team, I don't want to, yeah. It's
no,
close.
well, yeah, they could, because they're 2 points back of both Montreal and Buffalo, but they have the tiebreaker over Montreal in regulation wins. And if they won both of their games and Buffalo only wins one of their 2 games, then Tampa would finish first.
Okay, and because the other part of this formula that I want nothing to do with if I'm a team at the top of my conference in the East is the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
For all the criticism that he's taken this season, good for him. Linus Ullmark is playing really, really well of late. And when you look at their underlying numbers with solid goaltending, that's a recipe. Frankly, if you're a futures bet person, that's a recipe for potentially going on a run here.
Kev, as always, great stuff, buddy. We will talk some playoffs with you. We might even talk to you on Friday, a little series preview for some of these series. So
I was just going to say, we'll be cleaning out the lockers here and talking to players, but by the time we do, Jason, I should have every playoff matchup broken down, including I will focus early on the Oilers. So once that's locked in, I'll be ready to break it all down with you. Awesome, buddy. Thanks, man. Have a good one. Take care. That is Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine at NHL.com. Take a quick break. We'll come back. It's Gregor Show presented by Elks.
Are you looking for safe and reliable transportation solutions for your wedding, corporate retreat, or golf trip? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer 3 different sizes of units to cater to your needs, and we provide first-class service at affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy, from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Day or night. tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
I've got some good news if you've been thinking about a heavy-duty truck. The 2026 Ram 2500 Black Express is now at St. Albert Dodge. You've got 20-inch black aluminum wheels, black Mopar side steps, body color, bumpers and grille, and a sport performance hood. Available in all the colors for $68,990. Plus, new this year, Ram's best-in-class 10-year powertrain warranty. Now's the time. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
250. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. It's time now for our MLB report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace or AC. And I will say, unreal service. Maybe you need your hot water tank service looked at. And all of a sudden it conked out. They came over on Sunday. Boom. Fix it. Hot water back. No issues. Love it. LegacyHeating.ca. And MLB baseball. It's going to be an interesting start to the season because right now there's like a lot of average teams. You look in the AL, the best record is 9-7 amongst any of the 15 teams. And that's the Twins and the Guardians. They're 9-7. And then you got the Rangers and the Athletics and the Rays and the Yankees and the Orioles, 8-7. The worst team are, I guess, the Astros and the White Sox at 6-10. And then the Blue Jays and the Red Sox at 6-9. So no one's really, dug a hole. No one's really had a great start. Is this parity? What is it? Because we don't see this a lot in MLB, and maybe it's just the fact that it is extremely, extremely early. So we'll touch on that. Gabe Locke from USA Today joins us. And Gabe, what do you make of that? No one really off to a blistering start or a terrible start in the AL.
It's and even across the league, I want to say 26 of 30 teams are within 3.5 games of each other. Kind of naturally the Dodgers are the only real outlier, and then on the back end, it's basically the White Sox and maybe the Rockies that are struggling a little more than others. But it's been kind of crazy, and I tend to look at it for now as a kind of positive parity. Okay. Just because you're seeing teams trying to win. It's not tanking. You look at the Pirates, they made modest additions in Brandon Lau and Ryan O'Hearn. They have a lineup now. They have an offense that can back up their pitching. So suddenly there's fewer rollovers, and I think that's generally good for the game.
Yeah, okay. When you look at the Blue Jays, obviously they're decimated by injuries. Are there other teams suffering as much, or are the Jays right at the top of key injuries in the league?
Gotta be kind of at the top, although some of it's kind of built in a sense, with regard to guys like Trey Savage and Shane Bieber, just based on their situations last year. You knew Trey's innings would be limited a bit, kind of wondered how Bieber would bounce back since he is still relatively new post Tommy John. But it's starting to get kind of bad now when you delete Alejandro Kirk and George Springer from the lineup. And, I wonder how they'll cope. I was pretty bullish on them this year, but was concerned about losing that offense of Bo Bichette just because they were so good last year because of him, because of his clutch hitting ability and ability to hit, to move the baseball and not just be an on-base guy, but to actually hit. Now I feel like it's a lineup you can pitch to a little bit easier, and how soon will Kazuma Okamoto fully adjust? I think that's a big question going forward. But you take Springer and Kirk out of there right now. That's a lot of guys that can move the offense along, that can drive in runs. So I think they're in a little bit of trouble. I know Springer won't be out too long, but you'll wonder how this is going to shake out over the next few months, because it certainly has not started well.
Well, and you look, Vladimir Guerrero has 1 home run in 15 games. Right? I know he's batting .321 and he's got 17 hits, and he's been walked 11 times. So he's getting on base, right? His on base percentage is very good at .446. But when you're paying a guy that much money, at some point you need a little bit more power. And it's not like a lot of his doubles have been massive hard hit balls. He's hitting the ball hard, but not with any sort of loft.
Right. It's interesting, and it's that's such a glass half full or half empty situation, because on one hand, at the very least, you could say he's taking what they're giving him. On the other hand, you're right. First year of a $500 million contract, you certainly want a little bit more. That said, it is really early in that vein, So I imagine Vlad's probably the least of their worries, but it is kind of tough when you see Ohtani with, I think, 5 on the board already, a couple guys with 7, so it's he'll get his, but it does bear to watch what it looks like around him in the lineup. If it's going to be, he's going to be bracketed by, say Dalton Varsho and Jesus Sanchez, those guys have to produce and have to force pitchers to pitch to him. So again, another situation that you kind of want to keep your finger on the pulse of as they keep going forward.
Where do you come out on a guy like Matt Wallner? He leads the league he's got 29 strikeouts right, in 15 games, which is 5 more than Kurtz and Cal Raleigh. And Cal Raleigh early on was striking out and seems to have kind of slowed down a little bit. But what do you make of a guy who strikes out that often? Right? At what point does it become a problem for the Twins?
Wow, it's I guess Russell Branyan syndrome, if you'll allow a name that's a couple decades into the past. But no, it's that's a ton, and that's a massive strikeout percentage. You're talking 45%. That's really chronic, and is the payoff worth it? He's hit 3 home runs, but overall, it's an awful lot of inaction for what ends up being, kind of below league average overall production. So, yeah, it's. I hope we are getting towards an era where you're seeing some emphasis put back on getting the ball in play. And I think one way we saw that was, the Chicago Cubs. Locking up Nico Horner. That guy is impossible to strike out. He got a very nice, guarantee, $141 million extension from the Cubs, because he's that guy who moved the baseball along. So it's, I think the market is starting to correct a little bit, and maybe the Wallners are, I don't want to say pushed to the fringe, because you always want easy power, even if it comes at the extent of strikeouts sometimes, but it has to be balanced with guys getting the ball in play as well. So, it's kind of the never-ending push and pull of the game right now. And you get guys definitely on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Now, I know it's super early, but Jose Soriano of the Angels has had I don't even know if he's getting talked about it. He's 4-0. He's pitched 27 innings already. He's only allowed 1 earned run in his 4 starts, right? He's striking out. He leads the league in strikeouts, got 31. What do you mean? He's 27 years of age. Like, is this guy just kind of finally found it in year 4, or is it just simply way too early to get this excited about Soriano?
No, I think it's all coming together. Nothing's ever necessarily linear in this game. So here's a guy 27 years old now, and he's greatly reduced his hard hit contact rate. His expected ERA is almost down 2 runs. But he's always had it. He's always had the stuff. Real devastating power sinker and an effective 4-seamer as well. It's still again early, but at the same time, when you talk about a guy, first Angel to win his first 4 starts in a season since Jared Weaver, man, that's been a minute, and the Angels suddenly at 500, I think it's it's a real example of what a good pitcher and an emerging ace can mean overall to a team. A downward effect on the rest of the rotation and the bullpen. Even the lineup, you get a little pick-me-up there of, hey, we got a shot today. And they went out and absolutely shellacked the Reds with Soriano on the hill. So that's, kind of the best vibes we've seen in Anaheim in a really long time, just with all the injuries they've had and the odd organizational vision and transactions they've made over the years. Suddenly they've kind of developed their way into this gym here. So it'll be really interesting to see how well they can leverage that going forward. But right now they're at 500, which is a much better space than they've been in recent years, certainly.
Well, yeah, and I know it's massively early, but hey, they're within striking distance, and if Trout stays healthy, then you never really know. Lastly, is there any player who has grabbed your attention that maybe you weren't expecting to say, I want to watch this guy close now, whether it's a hitter or a pitcher?
Oh yeah, that's a really good summation. I think one guy that's really interesting in this early going here is Jordan Walker with the Cardinals.
Okay.
Suddenly years and years and years of adjustments and slow starts. And, we tend to overhype our prospects. We tend to dismiss them too soon, but you're talking 7 homers, an 1138 OPS, a Cardinals team doing much better than expected, given that they're expected to rebuild. So, I always like a good, as they say, a post-hype sleeper, and that's kind of him. He's making a lot of loud noises, and he's not to be slept on too much longer for certain.
Oh yeah, leading the league in home runs, and only his 4th inning NLL season. Really kind of 3rd and a half because he only played, I think, 50 games 2 years ago when he got injured. So definitely someone who's got some early pop in his game. Gabe, as always, man, love talking ball with you. Appreciate your time. Have an awesome day.
Got a long way to go. We'll be here.
There you go. That's Gabe Locks from USA Today. So early on, but if any of you play fantasy baseball, and I'm sure all you do, but man, I'd be curious to know, where did Soriano go as a pitcher? Like, who took him? Because somebody probably took him, and you must have gotten a bargain. Because early on, that guy's killing it. He's killing it. So only 1 earned run in 4 starts, pitched 27 innings. Like, come on. It's pretty damn good. It's got like a 0.33 ERA. He's only allowed 1 home run. Not a bad start at all. Let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Mortgages to Go. You need cash and have equity in your home? Mortgages to Go has you covered. When the bank says no, they say yes. And they've been doing it in Alberta for 23 years. Call 888-5998 or visit mortgagestogo.ca.
The Sports 1440 update.
Game day Oilers Avs down at Rogers Place. Puck drop just after 7:30. Pre-game coverage coming your way at 6 with Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson, and Landon Ferraro. Veteran goaltender Jonathan Quick announcing today that he is retiring from the NHL after the season. Tonight will be his last start as the Rangers meet the Panthers. Quick was a 2-time Stanley Cup champion with the Kings, won the Conn Smythe in 2012. Elsewhere got the Wild and the Blues. Leafs host the Stars. Sharks taking on the Preds. Blackhawks and Sabres. Kings in Seattle, and the Golden Knights up against the Winnipeg Jets. Major League Baseball. Jays off today, back in action tomorrow, taking on the Brewers. 1 game right now. Mariners up on the Astros 5-0 in the bottom of the 4th. You also have the Orioles and the Diamondbacks. Cubbies in Philly. Angels take on the Yankees. Braves, Marlins, Twins, Red Sox, Rangers in Sacramento taking on the Athletics, and the Dodgers up against the Mets. Toronto Blue Jays acquiring infielder Lenyn Sosa from the Chicago White Sox in exchange for outfielder Jordan Rich and a player to be named later or cash consideration. With the move, the Jays on the 40-man roster placing Shane Bieber on the 60-day IL. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear from members of the Edmonton Oilers. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for
And how are you? And welcome.
Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnuts.
Game
Try
day.
them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call-solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the 18-4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Do you sit around at work listening to sports radio all day? That's right, my friend. There's no shame in it. It's the good life. And we're not here to snitch. Say, if your company advertised on Sports 1440, you could be the one listening for your company's ad every day. Now you've got an excuse to listen to Sports 1440 all day. It's part of the job. Sounds like someone's getting a promotion. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca and let's get to work for you.
Hey, it's Jamie from Green Drop Lawn Care. From the big mall in the west to the Arena District downtown, Edmonton is beautiful. But when I see your lawns, I know one thing's for certain. Weeds are coming. Be proactive and take advantage of our early bird savings until April 30th.
Green Drop has been Canada's lawn expert since 1979. And they're in your community, keeping your yard looking beautiful with affordable lawn care packages that include fertilizer, weed control, drought fighter, and more. Visit greendrop.com.
Measles is very dangerous during pregnancy, increasing the risk of many severe health-related complications. If you're planning to become pregnant, make sure you have received 2 doses of the vaccine at least 1 month before conception. Don't get measles, get immunized. Visit alberta.ca/measles to find out if you're up to date and what to do if you're not. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$310, how are you? Game day on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. At the conclusion of our show, we'll get right to the pregame show with Walker and Paulson. And remember, puck drop tonight is around 7:38. The Oilers and the Colorado Avalanche. Oilers, not out of the woods yet. Like, this could be, there's a low chance, but it's probable that the Oilers could finish in fourth place in the Pacific. And that means they would face off against Colorado in round one. So the Oilers have 2 games remaining. Let's say they lose to Colorado and somehow lose to Vancouver. Not likely, but it's possible. They'd be at 90 points. Anaheim wins one of their 2 games or even just gets a point. They're at 91. The Kings win 2 out of 3. They're at 91. Like, these games do matter for the Edmonton Oilers. Make no mistake about it. The Kings are playing Seattle, Vancouver, and Calgary. Not a murderer's row by any stretch of the imagination. Now, the Ducks, they're a little bit in trouble right now. They're taking on Minnesota tomorrow. Minnesota has nothing to play for. The Ducks have everything to play for. They still haven't secured a playoff spot, so I think they will be fired up. But let's say they lose that game and Nashville beats San Jose tonight. Then Anaheim and Nashville could be battling it out for a playoff spot. Massive. So we'll see what happens. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Check out the Gregor Show odds boost. We got a little McKinnon, McDavid action tonight. Also, 100-point game for Marty Necas, maybe. Nugent Hopkins, 20-goal season, possibly. Get that. Connor McDavid does need 3 goals in the final 2 games to reach 50. Also, the Edmonton Oilers, actually, we'll get to the stats of the day in a bit, because I got some stats for Oiler fans that might say, maybe the Oilers, they do have some depth. We'll get to that. But first, let's get to the oil report, brought to you by Go Auto. Any vehicle you need, goauto.ca. I got a Honda Pilot from Go Auto. I can tell you from the outside, looks like a normal SUV. On the inside, it's the most spacious SUV I've ever had. And if you're I'm just about 6'1". I've never had more space in the vehicle, headroom, everything else. If you're a tall guy, 6'3", 6'4", 6'7", you should get a Pilot. There is tons of room in there. I know when you're a big dude, you need a little bit more space. Very comfortable. It's got the third row seating if you want. If not, you throw it down. Huge hatchback, lots of space. It's got all the bells and whistles, but you might want to check out the Pilot at goauto.ca. And Oiler fans, Leon Draisaitl. He spoke today, did skate. Him and Zach Hyman both skated. And actually, Owen Michaels, I know it's only practice, but man, if you're Owen Michaels, you mean like, hey, how's your day today? Pretty damn good. I skated on a line with McDavid and Hyman. Draisaitl and Hyman. Pretty fun practice for the youngster. Now, he's not obviously going to play a game, I guess, unless the Oilers win tonight and some other things happen, and then, maybe they'd slot him in on Thursday. But as Chris Knobloch said, their main goal is to win games right now. So maybe if someone's banged up, he could get in. We'll see. But here's Leon Draisaitl just updating you on how he's feeling.
Yeah, I feel fine. Obviously, it's progress, and there's a timeline, and you kind of have to follow that. So, but all in all, I feel pretty good, and it's just one day at a time.
Now, what are the chances that Leon Draisaitl could be good to go for game 1 of the playoffs?
I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, there's steps that I have to follow, and there's certain things that I have to be able to do, and I'm not there yet right now, so we'll see how that is by the end of the week, or whenever game one would be.
Well, game one is either going to be Sunday or Monday. It's going to depend, of course, on the schedule. And now that we know there's 3 Canadian teams in, Montreal and Ottawa, I would assume that those 2 teams are going to play on opposite nights. Now, there is a slim chance, I guess, they could face each other if Montreal somehow ends up winning the division and Ottawa jumps ahead of Boston in their final game. So it's possible, but seems kind of low odd right now. So, because if Buffalo just wins one of their remaining 2 games, they'll finish ahead of Montreal. So Montreal and Ottawa aren't going to play in the same night. So if Montreal starts on Saturday, you could have Ottawa start Sunday, and then you could have Montreal and Edmonton play on Monday. Because as you know, Oilers fans, you're used to it. You don't love it, but you're used to it. You're going to be the late games. It's just how it is, especially in the first round, usually in the second round as well. So Edmonton's either going to start on Sunday or Monday, depending a little bit of schedule, arena availability, etc. We don't know who they're playing yet, where they're playing, so that obviously factors into it. But they're definitely not going to start on Saturday. That's where I know 100% that won't happen. So it's either going to be Sunday or Monday. And is there a criteria for Draisaitl that he needs in order to return to the line?
It's a little bit of everything, I would say. I think a little bit of feel, how the player feels, if he's ready to go, and obviously there's some on ice stuff that is required to be feeling really good. And once those are all checked off, then I guess it's kind of up to the medical stuff.
At the same time, does he know when he's feeling good enough to play? He knows his body, right? Where he's played with injuries before. We've seen it. Every injury is different, right? Just because you played with the bum shoulder once doesn't mean that, my knee's, half dangling my tendon, but I can still play, right? Like every injury is different. And does he feel he knows whether or not it's a danger to play or he can play with a little bit of discomfort?
Yeah, I think nobody knows their bodies better than the athletes themselves, right? I know my body better than anyone in the world, and I know when I'm ready to go and when I'm forcing it. I'm highly aware of that, and this isn't an injury that you force anything with. So I'm going to see how I feel by the end of the week, and hopefully it feels great, and maybe I'm an option. Maybe it's a couple games later, but we'll see.
I don't know about game one, listen to him more, which is fine. I kind of said that last week that, game one. I do think you're going to see him in the playoffs, most definitely in round one. Did he know the extent of the injury in that game against Nashville a month ago right away? Was it obvious to him something was off?
No, I knew that there's something wrong right away. Not necessarily a player that goes off like that with every little pinch I feel. So I felt that this was not something that it was just something a little bit more serious. So you feel it right away, and then just made the decision that doesn't make sense.
And he's been out now for a month. What has he seen lately from his team in his absence?
Some good hockey, some really good stretches. I think very compact, very tight hockey games. Kind of what we've been searching for all year. Seemed like the guys really, dialed that in, and I'm obviously, looking to help that out at some point, hopefully. And but I think they've done a great job.
And he's obviously a leader of the team. It's a little different when you're not playing, but how does he feel the team's looking at round one, opponent, home ice, and all those factors here with 4 days to go in the season?
Well, I think they all matter to an extent, but obviously I think we'd like to stay in our top 3 in our division. We'd like to stay on that side, and I think this team is good enough and experienced enough to start on the road against any team that we might face. Or at home, whatever it will end up being. So there's a lot of trust in here, but we want to finish as good of a position as we can always.
Yeah. So there you go from the captain or assistant captain Leon Draisaitl, head coach Chris Knobloch. The areas that he wants his team to focus on in the remaining 2 games now.
I thought 2 games we played pretty good defensive game. I think the LA game, we didn't get to the net enough. We also didn't break the puck out as clean to generate a little more offense, spend more time in the offensive zone. But the competitive nature is there. The details are pretty dialed in. Playing a very playoff type hockey, and it's at the end of the season where teams are hungry for wins and know what's at stake. And we got to continue playing like that, especially with, these last two games are very important for us. We want to finish as high as possible in the standings, just to give us a better path in the playoffs. And, I think we're on the right track.
They've been playing better, for sure. What about, actually, why don't you here's the coach, because you heard from Leon Draisaitl, but here's the coach on the Hyman and Draisaitl update and what he's expecting from those guys and when you could see them.
They're doing very well. They've been skating. Hyman's not playing tonight. Neither is Leon. Hyman's questionable for Thursday. And Leon, as I said before, we're expecting him sometime in round 1.
There you have it. Dickinson is going to be reevaluated at the end of the regular season. We outlined that last hour for the Oilers and just kind of his health and where he's potentially at. Jones, we know, is out 3 to 4 weeks. That was confirmed earlier today by the head coach. So we'll have to see kind of what goes on with Dickinson. I think it's a little bit of obviously I think is related to the bone bruise. So we'll kind of have to figure out what he's at. Bone bruise, does it become a hairline fracture? Right? Remember, you had a bone bruise with Wallman, and then when the swelling went down, it turns out there was a slight hairline fracture. Doesn't mean the next one will be, but that's obviously something that's why you kind of don't know on the case of Dickinson. Could get worse, could get better. We'll see. Take a quick break. When we return, we're going to talk to Jamie Thomas. Dare to dream. Fans, dare to dream. Is it still alive? Find out next. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
At On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers the Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. And yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Hi everyone, Sarah.
And Neil.
From Arcan RV.
We are back, and we're celebrating spring with Arcan Days.
Well, we were always here. We've been around for 49 years.
That's true. We're kicking off another amazing RV season with some huge deals, showcasing our new brand, Cougar, Raptor Toy Haulers, and Coleman Trailers starting at just $17,999.
Plus, special finance rates on remaining 2025 models with an extra $2,500 trade-in credit. Check out arcanrv.com for details. Connecting you to RVing since 1977.
Something's happening. Something big. The Service Big Share Contest is back, where just by saving money with Service Credit Union, you could win $1 million. From now until the end of April, the more money you save with us, the more chances you have to win. The Service Big Share Contest. Isn't it time to feel good about your money? The Service Big Share Contest ends April 30th, 2026. No purchase required. For information and rules, visit service.ca/win.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Edmonton sports fans, stay informed with Sports 1440. Stream us. Listen to us on the AM dial. However you consume this radio station, thanks for listening.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, to the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy. Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent and non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through a lovely Monday afternoon. Nice weather outside. We're getting into the playoffs in the National Hockey League, NBA playoffs. WHL's into the second round, although second round not really competitive yet. All 4 series are up 2-0 so far. So maybe they'll get a little tighter. We'll see. You have AHL playoffs coming around the corner. There's lots happening, man. Love it. Golf seated up. MLB has started. Everybody's in the race early on. Of course, only 2 weeks into the season, so we'll see. Now, speaking of the season, there are a few teams clinging on the edge of extinction, holding on with their fingertips. Can they stay abreast? Obviously, they need some help. Teams like the Winnipeg Jets, San Jose Sharks, Nashville Predators, they need the teams in front of them to lose. Mark Scheifele also looking to get to .100. Scheifele, Natchez, and Pasternak all sitting at 99 points. Natchez and Scheifele looking to get to 100 for the first time. Pasternak obviously has done it in the past. And we will go around the NHL. Brought to you by McDonald's. And it's back in Canada. The Chicken Big Mac. Combining the McChicken patty with the Big Mac buns and sauce. All in one. Enjoy it now for a limited time. Only at McDonald's. It's Jamie Thomas from Ground Control Podcast and worked for the Jets. Joins us once again. JT, how you doing, my man?
I've never had the Chicken Big Mac, so that's how I'm doing.
Wow, dude, buddy. What are you doing with your life? Really?
I don't know.
Okay.
I've had, like McChicken, yes.
Yes.
love a Big Mac. So obviously this is the best of both worlds.
Well, yeah, sometimes, right? You got to depend, right? Some combinations we think are good, they don't necessarily turn out to be good.
No, they do not.
Yeah, we'll see. Kind of like the Jets season this year. I think there was lots of expectations in Winnipeg that this would be a better season. Now they finished strong. They're 7-3 in their last 10. And kind of lately, it's like, well, this is the Jets team we thought would be there all year long, right? And they obviously are going to need a lot of help here. That even if they win out, they need the Kings to lose out or only get 1 point. So it's pretty difficult to think they'll get in. So what kind of changes, if any, do you think are coming in the offseason for the Jets?
Oh, well, I don't know if I can say drastic, but I think I think what you're seeing right now, like Braden Yeager's going to make his NHL debut tonight. Not saying he's going to be a Winnipeg Jet next year. Brad Lambert's on the second line tonight with Cole Perfetti and Adam Lowry. I think there's been a lesson learned in terms of you got to keep bringing younger players in, mix them in with the veteran players. The Jets record I don't think there's any question has improved since they went a little bit younger, and added some speed to their lineup. Isaac Rosén may not be lighting the world on fire, but he's still got that speed. Brad Lambert's one of the faster players in the organization. Elias Salamonson, called up this recently because of the injuries to Neil Pionk, and although he's out right now, just a little bit of youth has helped the Jets get this. They've had the second best record in the Western Conference since the Olympic break. I don't think there's been some lesson learned in that aspect. It didn't help that you invested heavily in Gustav Nyquist, hoping that 70-plus point season wasn't an aberration a couple of seasons ago. Has got one goal. There's lots of reasons why things went the way they did. You lose 11 straight games, or go winless in 11 straight games. Connor Halley has surgery. You lose him for 13 games. Like there's a whole bunch of lessons learned here. And but I think right now, I think the Jets are going to have to understand they're going to have to continue getting a little bit younger and bring up some players from the Manitoba Moose. And Jason, I think the most obvious thing, and it's been something that's been eluding them since Brian Little got hurt all those years ago, is they need a second centerman.
Yes.
That's the most, and I know there's a ton of teams that have that exact same issue, but this is something that has held the Jets back, and it's come through in many forms, like Pierre-Luc Dubois. They bring in Paul Stastny twice, Kevin Hayes at the trade deadline. Sean Monahan. They've tried many times. I don't know if they were thinking Jonathan Toews was the answer at 2C after him being away for 2 years. I don't think that was the intention either. But it's been a challenge, and Adam Lowry has been playing in that role for a significant amount of time here, and that's not his forte, right? He's one of the best third line centers in the NHL and checking centers in the NHL. So that's something that has to be paramount here for the Winnipeg Jets if they're going to continue to stay or come back as a Stanley Cup contender in 26-27.
Yeah, I think that's totally valid. The problem is it's hard to go get one, right? So how could they even go about it? Like, do they have pieces they could move? Like, I don't know, maybe they say, hey, maybe they go after Charlie Coyle, right? Charlie Coyle could be a second line center. And, maybe look, say, guys, like we have to do this. We need a second line center. Now you'd have to convince him to come, and I get all that. Like it's not just like, okay, this is the guy we want. But that's kind of like when I look at it, there's not a ton of free agents. He'd probably be the best one.
Yeah. The free agent pool is extremely dry, and you're going to be contending with a lot of other teams in that aspect too. Can you trade? But I've said this, they're a draft and develop organization. They can't just keep giving up draft picks, trying to find that right fit for the organization. That's the tough part they're in. And they were able to recoup some of their draft picks, with the deals at the deadline. But you can't, it looks like you're gonna have a top 10 pick this year. You're not, I would hope, and I believe that they wouldn't. I don't believe you're going to be sending that pick out the door anytime soon. Right. So it's either you overspend to get somebody to come here, or you're going to have to make a deal. And I think the Jets are happy with the draft picks that they have, and want to make sure that they continue to feed the future, because Braden Yeager, love the kid, great player. But I just because he's making his NHL debut tonight doesn't mean he's ready for the NHL. He's got 30 points this year in the American Hockey League. There's still some more growth to happen there too, right? So I think it's a bit of time for Braden Yeager to make that jump, and Brad Lambert's not going to be an answer at center either. So it's just going to have to either be through trade or you're going to have to spend a little cash in the offseason in an extremely small, limited free agent pool.
Jamie Thomas joins us talking about the Jets. What about on the back end? Where do you see that they need some? Like, it's funny, they got rid of Logan Stanley.
Yeah,
and I still think, like you talk about a 2C. I think the one thing the Jets defense lacks is size.
Yeah. I remember when last time I came on with you, we talked about the problems of departing, moving on from Logan Stanley, because I don't know if they're going to try and bring him back here again. That's hard to say at this point. I don't think so, but that's the problem. Elias Salomonsson proved himself before the injury that he can be a top 4 defenseman in the National Hockey League and a consistent guy on the back end for the Winnipeg Jets. So where else can you go here? And there's nobody in the pipeline right now that can come up and do that, I think, for the Jets. Salomonsson, of course, was a 2nd round pick. They were, and Scott Arniel mentioned it in a post game interview that the intention was for Salomonsson to play the entire year in the American Hockey League, because the Jets did at the time when the season started look like they had enough depth on the back end to do that, but they had so many injuries this year that Salomonsson had to come up and play, and I think it's helped the organization because now you know what you have in him.
Okay,
he possibly could step back. We've all heard that's happened before.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see how Elias Salomonsson isn't a Winnipeg Jet to start the year next year. Now, what does that look like? Or eventually, can he play with Josh Morrissey? That's the other thing too, right? Because I think Dylan DeMello had an up and down year this year. And then Salomonsson played sparingly with Morrissey, and they look pretty good together. And you're always going to have Pionk and Sandberg. So how does your bottom 3, your third defense pairing look? Is Dylan DeMello going to go down there?
Yeah.
But Salomonsson to me has proven more than enough times. He was one of the pleasant surprises. Morgan Barron was took a tremendous step this year, for the Jets. So you have some answers in that aspect, but I still think like the 2C question, like you just posed there, that's another place that they're going to have to address. And then, another place you're going to look at is, what do you do for your Eric Comrie's contract that has expired at the end of this year? What are you looking for there? But I don't see how the Jets and Comrie don't come to an agreement for a contract because of that. He just fits in so well here, and always has. And this is the 3rd time back. So I don't see how they don't figure out something out for next year as well.
JT, what about Jonathan Toews? Do you see him coming back on another 1-year deal?
I can't see how he doesn't, because if he's comfortable with being 4C,
okay,
that's to me is the big thing, because you're not going to move Adam Lowry down because he's going to be fully healthy, touch wood. Won't have to deal with offseason hip surgery to recover from this year. He's your he's captain and he's your 3rd line center. To me, fits in that 4th center, but also, because he's a wizard in the face-off circle, There's so many other ways you can get him in there. He can play on your power play. He can kill penalties.
Yeah.
So I think if he's okay with the 4th line center role, and then that's the thing too. Like, where does Vladislav Nemestikov fit in this whole thing too? So, especially if you go out and fill the 2C spot, which I believe you have to. So, but if Jonathan Toews is comfortable being a 4C, there's plenty of places where he can fit in with more, to get your ice time. Because I feel the impressive part is, sure, he didn't give you, 2C or whatever the expectations were. I don't know what they were, but he gave you more in the aspect that he's still great in the face-off circle, and he played every single game this year. Touch wood. I know there's 3 more to go, but the fact that he stayed healthy the whole year with the schedule, with the amount of time and what he had to come back from, I think is one of the more impressive things that Jonathan Toews did this year.
Down in the minors, do you see? I was looking at their roster of players.
Yeah.
They got a lot of guys like Mason Shaw and Walker Dewar, who's played a little bit in the NHL before, but Jared Anderson, they don't really seem to have anybody down there that is maybe ready. Am I missing anyone up front? At least?
No, because I think Isaac Rosen is kind of fitting in there, right? Like that's who they got from the Buffalo Sabres. Like he hasn't, contributed consistently enough yet, but I think a full-time gig in the National Hockey League is only going to serve him better this year. So is he a 3rd line guy with a 2nd power play time? But but to answer your question, I don't feel, Colby Barlow's a former 1st round pick, but he also had a slower up and down year in the American Hockey League this year too. So I agree with you. I don't think there's anybody there that's going to be able to help you immediately as of next year. But there's always guys that, that could change in the offseason. I don't know. But as of this moment, I don't think outside of whoever Isaac Rosén, I just don't think that's your young players right now. And I think the another focus will be for the Jets is to retain Cole Koepke, who was fantastic in a fourth line role and a penalty killing role. His speed is undeniable. And so just such a great penalty killer, especially with Morgan Barron. That's another guy I think that Kevin Cheveldahl will be focusing on in the offseason again.
So JT, being in the Central Division, give me your thoughts on Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota, and which team you like to go the deepest in the playoffs.
I think because Colorado seems to have the answer in goal right now, I think they're, as much as it looks like there's been, the Jets beat them 2 out of the final 3 times they played them. I still think they're the class of the Central Division, because Minnesota and Dallas are going to beat the crap out of each other in that first round series. And Colorado is going to have an easy time with whoever they get in the first round. Though I have spoken with people that they're not particularly fond of, playing Nashville if that ends up being the case, but it looks like it's going to be Los Angeles. So I think Colorado will be ready and waiting for whoever's left from Dallas and Minnesota in the second round. So I think Colorado will be the one getting out of the Central.
Okay. Awesome stuff, JT. As always, great to catch up with you, my man. We'll talk to you again soon.
Can you send me a chicken Big Mac one of these times when you get down the road? Please?
Dude, you know what? I'd love to send it to you. Maybe I can DoorDash it from Winnipeg.
Perfect.
For you. Yeah.
It will not cost much at all.
No, and it would be tasty, buddy. Very.
We got provincial sales tax here in Manitoba.
Oh, I can't afford that then. You know what? We don't believe in provincial sales tax in our province. I think it's a waste of money. Okay, so we don't have one of those. 100%
is. Okay? I believe you. I've lived in the great province of Manitoba or Alberta, and I understand the benefits of the no provincial sales tax.
Yeah, it can be good or bad depending on what you do with the money. So, very true. Very true.
So it's all about what I pay at the till.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Awesome. Well, JT, enjoy your day. You know what? Because I would just imagine, like, for the hair products that you use. Right,
I know
it's getting more expensive. Yeah, like for you, it's like this guy over here. Like there's none. Right, I got a razor, and I bought, that's it. So I can see why it would be a bigger.
And you're
influence.
saying to me right now, who's laughing now, Thomas? Right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, all you full hair guys, ha awesome stuff, JT. Have a great day, buddy. There you go. That's Jamie Thomas. Generally a good guy. Like honestly, if you put up 2 guys, like if we had to have a competition. At one point, do you think who smiles more, Gene Principe or Jamie Thomas? That it would be, I don't know, man. JT, I think, has a bigger smile than Gino, but both of them, like 2 of the nicest guys ever around. So, about publicly, behind the scenes, maybe I question it. I'm kidding, of course. We will come back. We got some stats of the day that you're going to like. And maybe concern you. Next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Cantork has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
At GS Construction, we're multitaskers. We've got lots of projects going on all around Edmonton and area. Different teams across the city working towards the same outcome. Installing today what will serve generations to come. It's a rewarding career and the work never stops. That's why GS Construction is always on the lookout for great people to join us. Right now, we're looking for experienced topmen, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. So if you want to feel valued, empowered, and engaged in your work, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. Mortgagestogo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, I'm good to go.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Ready to upgrade your ride this spring? Come on down to the Golf Cart People. They're a family-owned and operated business that's been serving the community since '97. Whether you're looking for a brand new or quality pre-owned cart, a rental for a special event, they do that too. The Golf Cart People have a huge selection of parts and accessories, and their expert service team is here to keep you rolling. The Golf Cart People, your one-stop shop for everything golf cart. Visit golfcartpeople.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through, lovely Monday afternoon. Game day, Oilers tonight, 7:30. 8 puck drop against the Colorado Avalanche. Draisaitl and Hyman did skate today, will not play tonight. Dickinson did not skate, will not play tonight. Jones is out 3 to 4 weeks. That's the injury update for the Oilers. There might be, and I only say this because of Spencer Stastny not staying out late after practice, like lots of guys do usually when you're not playing. He was off kind of like a normal of everybody else, which leads me to believe that A, he's either playing or they're saving him just in case somebody on the back end's a little bit banged up. And wouldn't be shocked if you see Spencer taking the warm-up and be a game-time decision for someone on the back end. My guess would be, I watched that game and I rewatched it. Matthias Ekholm's last shift just was like, he tweaked something there, and then you didn't see anything. You know, he was skating today, so maybe it's nothing. And Jake Wallman had another shot block that seemed to give him some discomfort. So those are the two guys. This is just a maybe. There's just when you watch things and you get so used to guys who aren't playing staying out late, because that's just what you do in hockey. If you're not playing, you got to stay out late. You got to skate, and it's not necessarily the most best timing. Well, it could be worse times of your life. Let's not kid ourselves, but it's just something to watch for me on the back end tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, let's get to our stats of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction, founded in 2009. They shape and build Edmonton communities, working for land developers directly, and specialize in power, gas, telecommunications, and more. That is All Star Construction. And the quick stats, let's just give you the straight up dirty. So the Edmonton Oilers have clinched the playoff spot. They have 90 points. The worst they can finish is in the second wild card spot. The best they can finish is first in the Pacific. Vegas has 91 points, 2 games to go. Edmonton and Anaheim, 90 points, 2 games to go. Edmonton would own the tiebreaker over Vegas or Anaheim or LA. LA's at 87 points. LA has 3 games left. They take on Seattle tonight. Vegas take on the Jets. Anaheim is in Minnesota, and Minnesota is resting a boatload of players. So if there was ever a time, now this doesn't guarantee you win, but if there was ever a time that they thought they could win, it would be tonight, as they are they being the Minnesota Wild. No surprise. Quinn Hughes, Kirill Kaprizov, Matt Boldy, Marcus Foligno, Ryan Hartman, Joel Eriksson-Ek, Brock Faber, Matt Zuccarello, all are not playing. Like, oh my goodness. So what is that? Faber and Hughes on the back end, and then Kaprizov, Boldy, Hartman, Foligno, Eriksson-Ek, Zuccarello. Look at your top 2 lines. Top pair defense. If the Ducks can't win tonight, they might never win. So you got to win. You got to win this game. Now Minnesota's going to have some young guys coming up, so you never know. But so think about that. The Ducks win. They're at 92 points. Then they leapfrog the Oilers. Now the Oilers are in third. LA wins. They're at Seattle. 1 point back are the Kings now with 2 games to go, and the Kings would play Vancouver and Calgary. They play Vancouver on Tuesday. The Oilers will be watching. LA wins that game. Suddenly, LA is ahead of the Oilers, and the Oilers into 8th place in the Pacific. That's why a win tonight go a long way from avoiding a first-round matchup against the very same Colorado Avalanche. So the numbers for the playoffs in the West, there's lots of possibilities. Nashville, obviously, they need some help. They're trailing the Kings. They've got 2 games left. The Preds are taking on San Jose tonight, and then the Ducks. They got to hope that the Ducks somehow can lose. And the Ducks are actually playing the Wild. Well, the Wild are resting all their guys tomorrow, and I got it wrong. They're not playing the Ducks till tomorrow. So all the guys the Wild are resting are tonight, which means they might play all their best guys tomorrow against the Ducks. Yeah, what am I thinking? The Ducks and the Wild play tomorrow. The Ducks are watching the Wild rest all their guys tonight. Now, they might rest them all tomorrow, but you look at Carolina. Carolina is playing all their starters tonight. And for the thought process is they can rest some of them tomorrow in the back-to-back. Maybe Minnesota's doing the opposite because tonight's a road game, so you don't travel those guys. And now you can just have your other guys. So interesting for the Ducks. So the Ducks tomorrow could get a full slate of the Minnesota Wild. Now, if Nashville loses to San Jose tonight, then it doesn't matter. The Ducks will have clinched a playoff spot. And the Kings, if the Preds lose to the Sharks and the Kings win, well, then they've clinched a playoff spot too. But let's hope that doesn't happen. We'd like to have a little intrigue down the stretch. Out in the East, you have Philly in the driver's seat, 2 games left, 94 points. Washington and Columbus, they play each other tomorrow. So one of them is going to win. We know that. Shootout, whatever it is. Here's the thing, though. The Flyers are playing Carolina tonight. Let's say the Flyers lose that game. It's possible. Let's say they lose it in regulation. So now they've got 94 points. We know that somebody in the Washington-Columbus game is going to win. Here's the fun caveat. If the game is tied in the final 2 minutes, the Columbus Blue Jackets, a tie, even if they win in regulation, like you wonder, would they pull their goalie? Because they look and say, hey, we got to win, because if Washington gets a point, then Columbus would have 94, Washington would have 94, and Washington has a tiebreaker. So if it's tied, Columbus has to pull their goalie because getting to overtime does them no good. Regardless of what happens in Philly in their last game, if you want to keep your playoff hopes alive, you have to beat Washington in regulation. So that could be a game. And I hope, just for intrigue, I want to see it. It's 2-2 game, 3-3 game, 4-4 game. Columbus has to pull their goalie because they can't give Washington a point. But that could help Washington. Then Washington wins. Now they're at 95. And now the Flyers would need to win their final game of the season in order to get in. Who do they face in their final game of the regular season? None other than who they take on? Flyers take on Montreal. So a lot of the East teams are actually, their season ends tomorrow. Because if you look at the schedule, there is games on Wednesday. Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Ottawa are playing. These are playoff teams in the East. And then Western playoff teams that are playing on Wednesday, Dallas, Vegas. That's it. Thursday, Mammoth, Ducks, Oilers, Kings, Avalanche. So those are the teams you know for sure aren't playing open up the playoffs on Saturday. The NHL does not like to do that, especially if you're a team on the road and then suddenly got to go to another road team and you got like one day off in between. It's not going to happen. So that was the other question people had about playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers. I think it's Sunday or Monday. And because Montreal is going to play on Saturday, it's pretty much a given, I hear. Them and Ottawa are both in. Do you want them both playing on the same night? Like if you're a Sportsnet, there's no chance. You got two Eastern-based teams. You want one on Saturday, one on Sunday, and they just rotate. And then Edmonton will play the night game behind either one. So they could play Sunday night. They could play Monday night. I'm not sure it's going to matter that much. Now, if they play Sunday, then it's Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday game for a Saturday. But might not matter again because you have Montreal and Ottawa, and the early game night on Saturday is usually the bigger one for a TV draw. Other stats to chew on for you. As I mentioned, Marty Natchez looking to get to 100 points. Nick Suzuki on the weekend became only the 5th Montreal Canadian. And it's the 11th time in Montreal franchise history that a player has scored 100 points in a season. The Montreal Canadiens have been in the NHL since over 100 years. Okay? 100 and, 6, 7 years now? You look at the Edmonton Oilers, who have been in the NHL since 1979, 1980. Montreal has had 11 times a player scored 100 points. Connor McDavid reached 100 points this year again. That's the 44th time an Edmonton Oilers player has had a season with 100 points or more. Montreal's had 11 of them. Like, Oilers fans, you are so lucky. Pittsburgh Penguins, they are second. They've had 32. The Oilers are at 44. Like the Toronto Maple Leafs, been around forever. You know how many 100-point seasons they've had? 5. And 3 of them have come in the last decade. With Matthews twice, Mitch Marner once. Prior to that, Doug Gilmour was the only Toronto Maple Leaf ever to have scored 100 points in a season. Like, Oilers fans, I know it's frustrating your team loses, but you are so lucky if you're a fan of offensive hockey and what you've been able to witness over time. Right? Like the Rangers being around forever. They've had 5 seasons where somebody had 100 points. Jagger, Panarin, Messier, Mike Rogers, Brian Leach. That's it. Right? Like it's wild when you consider these teams have been around that long. Now, I know that early on there wasn't as many games played. Soon we'll get to 100 points. But even if you wanted to do it since 1980, right? It would be that. Now, I actually had the number wrong on Toronto. I think I had Doug Gilmour because I had the date wrong. Gilmour, Darryl Sittler also had 100 points. So they've had it 7 times, right? Because Sittler had 100 points, obviously. But it's crazy to me to think that if you did it since the Oilers came into the NHL, the Oilers have been in the NHL since 1980. They're almost averaging 1 100-point season per year from 1980 until 2026. And Draisaitl would have had it this year. Wasn't for it. Now, you can say that about lots of teams, lots of players. But I found that kind of fascinating when you compare some of these teams. Because if you even go to when the Oilers came in, now, like Darryl Sittler, he's out of the equation because he happened in the late 70s. Didn't happen in the 80s. So, yeah. Oilers fans, be blessed what you get to watch. If you like offense. Some other numbers to look at quickly. The Toronto Raptors into the playoffs for the first time in 4 seasons. They're going to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers, who the Raptors have actually beaten the Cavs every game this season. Now, does the regular season matchup matter? This will be a great example of maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. When we come back, Gene Principe join us. Corey Massasak from Denver. Cale Makar is out. Nazem Kadri's out. Makar's got an upper body. I think it's a shoulder. Kadri's got a broken finger. Josh Manson left their game on Saturday, midway through the second period, will not play. How concerned are they about that? We heard from Kevin Woodley earlier about Wedgwood and Blackwood and the difference in their numbers. Is it still going to be Blackwood? And in case you missed it, the head coach of the Avs is not on the road trip. I don't know if, Connor, did you see the video replay of that Jared Bednar play?
I did, yeah.
Like, you don't see it very often, but if you missed it, man, Kolazar was looking like he was going to dump the puck in. Then he got hit, and he spun around, and then he fires the puck. It goes into the bench, kind of right through 2 Colorado guys, and smacks Bednar. He's not even paying attention because the play was kind of freakish. Hits him right in the face. He's got now he's got some facial issues, right? Scratch cornea. Like, it's not good. So he's not on the road trip. He'll probably be behind the bench, but I'm always actually surprised, Cons, that in the game of hockey, we haven't seen more guys have their face exploded by an errant puck in a game.
I'm with you. When it actually happened, obviously for a coach to get it, to elude the players sitting in front of him, kind of impressive. But yeah, I'm a little bit surprised it doesn't happen a little bit more often. Just the way it did, and man, like to not see it coming, to not be able to defend yourself, to just take it straight off the face, like that's a serious injury. And I'm kind of curious, how much does that impact the Colorado Avalanche? Obviously, a really good team. They've got, I'm sure, good assistant coaches ready to step in, but that's big.
Oh God, yeah. Like, did you see in the LA game, late in the game, Bouchard took one of his patented rippers, and it missed the LA Kings face guy by like 2 inches, and I'm like, man, that would destroy your face. Like a 95-mile-an-hour rubber puck coming at you. No thanks. Like, it hits your shin pads, that's one thing. Hits you in the face. I'm always kind of surprised that it doesn't happen more often. Thankfully, it doesn't for whatever reason. I don't know, but it's a good thing it doesn't. We'll come back. We'll get the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. The snow is melting. You're thinking about it. Summer tires. Now's the time. Stop in. Get them. FountainTire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. Oilers and Avs down at Rogers Place. Puck drop just after 7:30. Our pregame coverage with Andrew Walker gets going at 6 here on Sports 1440. Veteran goaltender Jonathan Quick announced today that he is retiring from the NHL after this season. Tonight, he'll make his final start against the Panthers just after 5. Elsewhere, you got the Lightning and Red Wings, Canes and Flyers. Leafs host the Stars, Wild in St. Louis. Preds get the Sharks, Sabres in Chicago. Kraken hosting the Kings, and the Jets head to Sin City. In the Major League tonight, Angels take on the Yankees. Braves will host the Marlins. Red Sox head to Minnesota. Cards host the Brewers. Rangers get the Athletics. One game right now. Mariners on top of the Astros 6-2. Top of the 8th. The Jays off today. They'll be back in action tomorrow, kicking off a series with the Brewers. Coming up in Hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Gene Principe of Sportsnet. The Denver Post's Corey Massasak joins us to look at the Avs, and we'll ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. Station CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
The Spruce Grove Saints have clinched their spot in the Rogers BCHL Cup playoffs.
Catch all the first-round action at the Thompson Family Arena, one of the most exciting junior hockey atmospheres around. Feel the energy, hear the crowd, and be part of the playoff push as the Saints battle for the cup. For tickets or information, follow the Spruce Grove Saints on social media or visit sgsaints.ca. The Spruce Grove Saints are playoff bound. Don't miss your chance to be there.
It's go time. Go Saints go.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit, no credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
If you've got a smart speaker, get it to play Sports 1440.
And it doesn't matter when you listen as we roll out the Sports Talk
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton's home for sports radio is Sports 1440.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love, better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meat, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Spring into savings at The Brick. Refresh your home with huge discounts. Save up to $1,800 on sofas and sectionals. And buy more, save more. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game and save up to 40% off select mattresses and score free delivery when you use your Flexity card. Plus, save 15% when you buy 2 or more select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, proudly Canadian since 1971.
There's nothing like a spring sunset by the lake. Oh, wait, that's a pothole. And that was a new truck. Oh, what the? Springtime in Edmonton also means project time with help from Metal Supermarkets. Huge inventory cut to your precise requirements, plus metal bending, drilling, punching, notching, plasma cutting, welding, even delivery. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
You probably know Stingray for radio advertising.
What about digital advertising?
Yeah, we do that.
Connected TV?
We do that.
Search and social?
And that.
Programmatic? Digital out of home?
We do it all. Endless digital platforms to connect your business to more customers, to intrigue them, engage them, so they choose your product or service. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com and let us help your business grow. We are Stingray. That's what we do.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by UL. Helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ul.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ul.ca, your partners in power.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Four nights left in the regular season of the National Hockey League, and then the playoffs will begin on Saturday. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show, as always. Very much appreciated. It's brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in lottery, instant, sports, live dealer. You name it, they got it. PlayAlberta.ca, $25 million for Max Million tomorrow. And tonight, if you're interested in a little Jason Gregor Show odds boost, check it out, PlayAlberta.ca, where we've got a little McKinnon and McDavid combos, also a Marty Natchez, 100 points and more. PlayAlberta.ca. The Edmonton Oilers, of course, taking on the Colorado Avalanche. Draisaitl, Hyman skated. They are not playing tonight. Dickinson didn't skate. I don't know what his status is. He's not playing this week. Max Jones is out 3 to 4 weeks. I think Hyman's going to be the one guy who's for sure ready for game 1 of the playoffs. Draisaitl, maybe, but definitely in the series at some point. And Dickinson, undetermined at this time. I think they're hoping that he too could make an appearance in the first round of the playoffs. We shall see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. It's time to go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. You can take action on your savings. The most diversified electrical contractor in the province can help walk you through how you can get the grants and savings to get solar on your home or your business. ActionElectrical.net. As Gene Principe, host on Rogers Sportsnet, joins us once again. And Gino, before we get to the action, because I've had a few people text us when they come in, do you know, are you hosting all of the Oilers playoff games as well? Do you know that yet?
You know what, Jason, hi, hello to you and your viewers and listeners. I do not know that. I have not heard as we kind of await. Well, Winnipeg has a very slim chance of making it. We know that 3 Canadian teams are in. I don't know. I'm going to guess that Scott Oak will be involved in the Oilers coverage because of his longevity and the work that he's done. And, you know, he's retiring. So I don't know, though, but I will know probably, in the next few days anyways, and maybe as late as Thursday, depending on where and when the Oilers get started. I'm not sure that has an impact. But if I get to do them, that's great. If it's Scott, I'm okay with that because of just all the stuff he's done. And I would suggest that next to me, he's hosted the most Oiler games with all of his Hockey Night in Canada appearances and playoff appearances. So we await a decision. The good news is for me, or the great news is, even if I don't host, I still get to go on the road with the team, and I cover morning skates and post game and do live hits and all that kind of stuff. So I'd love to do both, but if I only do one, I'm still feeling pretty lucky.
All right, okay. To the Oilers, they you mentioned the Jets. They got a really slim chance for sure, but the Oilers actually still have a chance to finish 8th, unfortunately, for them. I know it's late and the Oilers have played better here recently, but this is a big game tonight. They need a win.
Yeah, it's amazing how things it's that time of the year where every game you're really excited or really disappointed if you are one of the 8 teams that are in or one of the 9-10 teams, including a couple on each end. If you're Washington, right, you're trying to get in. I heard Kevin Carrot this morning interviewing a young lady. I think her name was Sam, and she was describing the Flyer situation and the Capitals and trying to get in. Winnipeg's odds are less than that, but yeah, Edmonton they've got some work to do, right? They want to finish at minimum in the top 3, preferably 2 and I'm not even sure that into 1. If it's there, it's there. But I think they definitely would like to. I think even logistically, you finish Thursday, you likely get Friday off, and then Saturday you get started, and it's a little easier to do that at home with the playoffs likely starting Sunday or Monday. So for sure, Jason, and that's in relation. I know you talked about that with Chris today, and that ties into the goaltending and who he starts and when they start. And it was great, flying home after a disappointing 1-0 loss, not getting a point. You're not clinched, but then Philly was all over Winnipeg. So by, I think the flight was about halfway done when the Oilers got the X by their name. So that's definitely nice. But there's still more nice stuff that they can have depending on what happens in the last two games.
Gene Principe joins us, and being on the road with the Oilers, Gene, you see a lot of stuff, and they've had a lot of guys banged up, unfortunately, as of late. Jones, the most recent one for them, prior to Dickinson. To that, did Dickinson stay on the trip, or did he come home?
He did stay on the trip, but it was a great question by you because, of course, we're focused on Leon, and then maybe I think there's more of a feeling that Zach is playoff okay, if that makes sense. But then you're right. Max Jones suddenly is gone, and Jason Dickinson, who, I think he's done a nice job, but his level of importance shoots up even more in the playoffs. And I'm impressed that, I saw him on the trip after he was injured. And when I initially saw him to what I saw at the end of the trip, he was in much better spirits. And, I can't speak for the actual physical damage, but he just seemed like, okay, this is going to be okay. Whether that, originally I thought this guy might be out for who knows how long. And now, again, we don't know. You asked Coach Knobloch today. There isn't really a timeline on Jason other than, if I remember correctly, from the morning that he's not playing the next two games. And then after that is a bit TBD. So this is a big deal now for Edmonton. Leon is question mark, even though, it was good to see him out there in a full practice today. But his status is uncertain. I think Chris said questionable for Zach on Thursday. But again, we feel like it's just a matter of time being game one when he's in. But you lose Max, you lose Jason. Leon is uncertain. Zach is, like so many players, likely not 100%. These are important role players, and some have even, saying they're role players is understating it. They have huge roles. It's got to get settled for Edmonton, preferably in a positive medical way, so that they can have their best possible team, or at least close to it, starting off the postseason.
Gene Principe from Rogers Sportsnet joined us. Gene, got anything special planned for Fan Appreciation Night tonight? Are you dressing up in a jersey? What's happening?
You know what? We're going to be in the stands with the fans. In the past we've had the neat opportunity to go into the mosh pit, but that mosh pit is on hold here for about another week. So we'll be in the stands, and I may pull a little Kelly Rudy because they're giving out bandanas to each fan on their seat. So yeah, we'll have some fun with the fans. I think, Jason, I really enjoy my job and the creativity that comes with my job. But certainly as you get later in the season, even I'll admit that it is more about hockey and playoff positioning, and that's what it is. So we have many months and many games to wear costumes and have fun. We can still have some fun, but it's a little bit different when you get this late into it, and with the fact that, they're in the playoffs, but they're still fighting for positioning. So, but it'll be great. It's a wonderful night to appreciate a fan base that is, I think it's second to none. I don't know who's first because I'm going to say Oiler fans, but of course you go to other cities and they'll say that their fans are number one. It's a great debate to have, but they virtually sell out every game. And, Jason, they travel to, so many different rinks, and they come from not just oil country, because oil country, as I often say, has no boundaries. People come from Germany, from Australia. When I was in Dallas, there was a lady from Louisiana, and you're thinking, how are you an Oilers fan from Louisiana? It wouldn't be a state that you would kind of connect to Edmonton. So I love that. I love people who are so supportive of the Oilers. So long answer, we'll have some fun in the opening, but we'll try and start to curtail our openings into a little more hockey and a little less costume.
Now, Gino, I know obviously it wouldn't happen now, but and maybe it has, but you're not scared of heights, are you?
You know what? Great question. I would say not scared of heights, but certainly aware of heights. When I go on the roof to to move the Christmas lights, put them on or take them off. You know, when you're up there, one tiny slip up could be a big deal. So, but I don't think. Well, no, I don't know what kind of height you're talking about, but I'd be open to your idea, whatever it might be.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, just see Gene on, like when you're in one of those big stadiums and you have your intro and you got the cable connected to you and you come like flying across, right? I'm surprised I haven't seen you kind of come down swooping in. You've done a lot of good intros. I just thought, that might be one you've thought about.
Yeah, you know what? That one can be put on hold, and maybe something that could be done next season, especially if maybe they're hanging up a banner or something. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Maybe I could be. That's actually a good idea. I'm going to put that on hold and potentially use that for next season. So I'm always open to ideas. Listen, 28 years of hosting the Oilers.
Yes.
It's nice because you get a new generation of fan base, and what's old is new again. And sometimes you just tweak an opening that you might have done, I don't know, 8 years ago or 9 years ago with fresh faces, fresh names. So that might be one. Well, actually, that would be one I'd love to do.
You've been hosting for 28 years?
Yeah, I think so. 1998, or maybe that's
no, that's right. No. There's a lockout year, sure, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Still, wow.
Yeah, 98. Yeah, 98. I started with A Channel, which is now City TV. I did that for 3 years, and then October 1st, knock on wood, will be 25 years at Sportsnet.
That is fantastic. I didn't know it was 1998. For some reason, I thought it was like 2001. But either way, that's
which what is kind of correct. That's sort of the second the do-over in the sense that was the beginning of Sportsnet, and that's when you got into the 40 games and the 48 and then the 60, right? So at 8 Channel back in when we were relatively young or younger, you might get a 28 game package all season.
I know,
right? And that was kind of your local television package. And then, of course, people might find this hard to believe, but some games often were not on TV. You'd get some on our, competitive network, and you would get Hockey Night in Canada, CBC, and there would still be some that just, that's why I think, we grew up listening to Rod Phillips, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes that's all you could, that was your only option. So it's come a long ways from then. Every game is available. I guess maybe only the Amazon games might be a little bit of a challenge to find or to pay for. We have it, so we get it. But yeah, I remember when I worked in Toronto, my gosh, if there was like one or two games, we literally needed an operator to answer the calls because everybody was so upset that there might have been one or two games that weren't on TV. So it's nice now. Fans have an incredible opportunity to watch at home. And I think tying into how we started, it appreciates more what fans have done because they could stay home. And I'm not saying we don't like that at Sportsnet, but it's nice to have a full building as well and have the atmosphere that we have throughout the regular season. And as you know, and other fans know, is, up, I don't know how many notches. I think they go up like the team goes up every round.
You mentioned Scott Oak. Of course, he had his final regular season after hours this past weekend, and it was great. And they had a lot of his highlight clips and different things. Do you have a favorite Oak story?
Well, I think favorite interview is Snoop Dogg. I just think who he's interviewing. Sometimes like when I interviewed Bill Burr, not to name drop, but it's almost like it to some extent it doesn't matter what you say. You've got Bill Burr, right? And he had Snoop Dogg, and he was great with sort of the Snoop Dogg lingo. So that's my sort of telling memory or interview. As for Scott, the broadcaster, and of course, as you know, Jason, we get to know people, not just broadcasters who are in front of people's televisions. But I've always found Scott, like I think one of the great things that you've done with the length of your radio show. But imagine being in a business for 52 years and staying on top of change, whether that be the way you do your job, who you do your job with, the technology that's gone with it. The players, I remember Rod Phillips, said to me a long time ago, I remember when I started, that being Rod, I started as, the age of the players, and then I got to be the age of the parents, and then you get to be the age of the grandparents. And so it's got to still be relevant to, I'm going to say, Connor McDavid or Ryan Nugent-Hopkins or, Evan Bouchard's a little bit younger. They continually get young. So I think that's a great quality. And I think that it is a quality that is helped by being around young people. I coach my daughter's soccer team, and I just find that young people are invigorating and they're energetic. They kind of have this glow about them because they're young and maybe they're a bit naive, but whether they're talented soccer players or hockey players or just young people breaking into whatever career they're going to have, I find that I always feel energized by them. And I think that's part of what's kept Scott so energized. I'm not, I think Scott's 72. Wow. That's amazing. I think that's an incredible career. And I'm not sure I've got it till 72, but I would like to stick around for a couple of Stanley Cups at minimum and then go from there.
All right. Gino, we'll see you at the rink and we'll see you in the crowd, I should say.
Sounds great. Yeah, thanks, Jason. I appreciate the time. Enjoy the game.
You betcha. That's Gene Principe from Rogers Sportsnet. So, Scott, okay, good for him, man. It's a good career, long career. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to go out to Denver, talk about the Avalanche. No Makar tonight, no Kadri, no Manson, no Blackwood. He's backing up. But what's made this Avs team so good, and any concerns about the injury to Manson? We know Kadri's a broken finger. They think he'll be ready to go, but they're not sold yet on when he'll be ready. Makar sounds like they're just being ultra cautious. He was skating. It's fine. He's not going to play tonight. Hasn't played since March 30th, but they don't know who their opponent is yet. It could be the Oilers. Crazy things. Lots of things have to happen, but it still possibly could be, especially if the Colorado Avalanche win tonight. So we'll discuss that and more when we return. It's Gregor Show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
On the rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tune.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Just West Brav and 118th.
When life unexpectedly changes, it can leave us feeling unbalanced, uncertain, and unsure of how to move forward. But you don't have to go through it alone. I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. Our team helps reestablish balance, guiding you through your divorce with compassion, clarity, and support. Fairway has helped more than 6,500 families across Canada find a path towards a peaceful, fair resolution. With 2 offices in Edmonton, we're here to make your journey easier. Discover your options at Fairway Divorce.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All Star Construction. And directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All Star Construction is all about.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
Deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or on the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
Free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. For a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Sleep is for the off-season. What off-season? Sports 1440 is live, loud, and locked 24/7. Oilers, Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers, Oil Kings. We've got your picks. Edmonton's home for sports is Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Looking for a tasty lunch? Papa John's has you covered. Get a small 2-topping pizza for only $9.99 with code S999 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$429. How are you? Welcome back to the Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hey, guys, I remember having 10 pay-per-view games a year, and we were winning like 12 total games a season. Definitely in spring for those. Hey, man, I can age myself. I remember back in the ITV days when I was a kid, used to have maybe 15 games all year. Maybe on TV, and Gene was bang on. That's why Rod Phillips was so hugely popular, because that was your lifeline to the team. You know, listen to Rod and then John Short. That became a big reason why I'm in sports radio, because of that. Listening to John late at night was fantastic, man. I loved it. And now, you know what? I know lots of people, listen to the show. If they're not, if they can't get it live, they're listening to it late at night, which is fantastic. So technology has definitely changed some things and different opportunities for sure. So, you got the post-game show with Walker now, which is great. So lots of opportunities to do that. Now, let's look at the orders taking on the Colorado Avalanche tonight. The Avs, they got some injuries of their own. I don't know if they're as serious. We'll find out, as Corey Masisak, beat reporter for the Avalanche, writes for the Denver Post, joins us once again. Corey, welcome back to the show. Let's start with the Josh Manson injury. Happened on Saturday, left midway through the second period. They're saying upper body. What are you hearing? Any concerns that he won't be ready for the playoffs?
There hasn't been a whole lot on him, to be honest. They he left the game, and then I think the fact that Jared Bednar also left the game after, that sort of like swallowed up everyone's attention a little bit. I don't think the thing with Manson is serious. They've had a collection of guys here get little knocks and things that it's the standard, like if there was a playoff game tomorrow they'd play, but right now they don't need to. So yeah, I think that's kind of where they're at with all the. Nazem Kadri has the finger thing, and Cale Makar's missed a few games, but like I think they'd probably all play tomorrow if they had to.
Yeah, that's fair. So Makar's out, Kadri's out, Manson's out. The Avs, when they're fully healthy, they're obviously they're a very, very deep team. We see that Natchez and McKinnon have been split up now. Are you expecting that to continue, or do you think when the playoffs start they'll be together?
I think they'll be together.
Okay.
I think, Jared Bednar has said that he's wanted to experiment with some different things. Like, whenever Kadri first got back, he was playing on the wing, and what they really ideally want him to play center. And yeah, like you said, the injury thing. I think, he's the bigger, like, who's going to play where is more of the second and third lines. I think the first line is probably going to be Lehkonen, McKinnon, Natchez, like, and that's just been, their most consistent, like, this is who they're, it's kind of like, some teams do that where they kind of have pairs, right? And like Nelson and Nichushkin have been together almost all year long and have just been kind of a two-way menace for everyone. And then also, McKinnon and Natchez, like, they kind of make magic together. So it would, I get like there might come a time in the middle of a playoff series where a team's, got their number a little bit, so he'll shake things up. But I think that's where they'll start for sure.
And then, so would Landeskog be the second line left winger, And because right now, because then there's Kadri. Do you think Kadri's in the top 6 and then Landeskog drops down? Like, what do you think happens?
I mean, my best guess for game 1, assuming everybody's healthy, is the top line that we just discussed.
Yeah.
And then I think Kadri is going to be the third line center.
Okay.
And I think Nick Waugh will be on the one side of him. Basically, the last piece of the puzzle is whether or not Ross Colton or Gabe Landeskog, like, basically, do they flip? Like, one of them is going to be the second line left wing. One of them is going to be the third line left wing. I think they actually, like, it's one of those, like, like how the Penguins put Phil Kessel on the third line the one year. Like, I think if Ross Colton can sort of handle his business on the second line, I think they'd actually like to play Landeskog on. Because, like, I mean, a Landeskog, Kadri, Nick Waugh third line is, like, pretty scary. Like, they had a game. They've only had, I think, maybe 2 games together. And I forget which one it was. It might have been the Calgary game when it was 9-2. And it was just like, that's just not, there isn't another team in the league that has a third line that looks like that right now.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Now, on the back end, obviously Taves and Makar play together. Are you expecting in the playoffs, would it be like, who's Burns going to play with? Is it him and Manson? Is it Kulak and Manson, Malinsky? Because I think I know who the 6 are. It's just who's the second and third pair.
Right. So that's the obvious part is not obvious anymore.
Okay.
Taves and Makar haven't played together in a few weeks. And, like, yeah, I think it'll be like when they need it. And, like, even during games, like, even like they haven't started a game together in weeks, right? Even before Kale got hurt. Okay. But, if they need it, if they need a big shift, it's those 2 guys. But the sort of the late season development here is that Bednar's, after they got Brett Kulak, they were like, hey, let's toy around a little bit. And Devon Taves and Sam Malinsky together have been great. Like, Sam Malinsky, obviously he's been kind of a breakout star of the season, but, like, they finally kind of gave him some time with Devon Taves, and it's like, oh, holy crap, they're really good together. So it's more a matter of whether or not they think they can leave Kulak with Makar. And they're kind of drawing from Kulak's time in Edmonton. They brought him in and said, hey, he played with Evan Bouchard. He played, he can do this. And so that the last handful of games before Makar got hurt, that was the kind of the setup. And then Burns and kind of the underrated thing there was that Burns and Manson have been the second pair all year long, but, like, they've faded a little bit. Like, they were really good for a long time, faded a little bit. Well, going with that alignment with Taves and Malinsky as the second pair allows those guys to drop down to even to the third pair. And again, there's not another team in the NHL that has a third pair that's as good as Josh Manson and Brent Burns. So, like, I think there are some ways that there's like okay, we need it right now. Third period, game 5, it's 2-2. Like, they're going to load up. But I think as long as they can kind of spread things out across the lineup, both up front and on the back, they're going to do it.
Okay. Well, now, what about goaltending? Because we had Kevin Woodley on earlier, and he said Scott Wedgwood's numbers are just way better, right? Especially coming out of the Olympic break compared to Blackwood. Now, he did say Blackwood's last few starts have been better. And I know that he seems to be their guy, Corey, but Wedgwood's played better. Like, Kevin had Wedgwood as the best expected save percentage, went to our goal saved above expected was Wedgwood since the Olympic break. So what do you think they do there? Is it going to be Blackwood, or do you think Wedgwood could be the game 1 star?
Yeah. I have thought really up until maybe a couple weeks ago, I thought all along, like, look, Mackenzie Blackwood is the number 1 guy. Scott Wedgwood has had an amazing year. He's basically made himself the best 1B in the league. He's been great, but, like, there's still, like, Mackenzie is still their guy. Well, like, yeah, like, the numbers are just kind of overwhelming. And I think also, like, the fact that Scott Wedgwood has played 3 times against the Dallas Stars and given up 1 goal since the deadline, basically. Also, look, Jared Bednar has been very adamant the past week or two that he's going to play both. And he's even insinuating that, like, one's going to play 1 and one's going to play game 2. And so I don't know if I necessarily believe that still, but I do think that he has. I mean, look, there's been, there has definitely been a kind of a groundswell of, hey, just name Scott Wedgwood the starter for game 1. He's earned it. But I do think that, like, look, there's still 3 games left, and what's the point of naming Scott Wedgwood your starter right now? And if he gets hurt tonight or tomorrow or Thursday, then you got to go back to the guy that you've said is your number. Just there's some psychology stuff in there too. But if you if their first game is Sunday, I think it's probably going to be Sunday or Monday. Today, I'd say it's probably going to be Scott Wedgwood. But I think there's almost no question that they're both going to play. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a rotation, but it might be like one guy plays for a couple and then the other guy goes in and plays for a couple. It's the reason why they were 31-2-7 to start the year. It's the reason why they're going to win the President's Trophy. Their goaltending has been great. But on the flip side, Scott Wedgwood has never started a Stanley Cup playoff game, and Mackenzie Blackwood hadn't until last year. So he's got 7. And so it's still sort of like, everyone thinks they can probably do it, but we'll see.
Corey Massack joins us talking Colorado Avalanche. They're in town tonight to take on the Edmonton Oilers. No Makar, no Manson, no Kadri. They're getting some rest before the playoffs begin. Dallas and Minnesota are going to go at each other. You've watched them. Who do you like in that series?
Oh, man. I'm sure every person that roots for the Avalanche in Denver, Colorado wants that series to go 7 games. I think Minnesota is a great team. I just don't know. Like, to me, if I had to choose between them right now, I would just say, Dallas just has all these guys that have just been through the wars so many times, and Minnesota doesn't have a lot of that. And sometimes that gets overblown, but I also it's hard to separate the fact that whenever I watch Colorado and Dallas play each other, it's almost like the way it's been with Colorado and Edmonton before this year. Like the last couple of years, when Colorado and Edmonton got together, it looked like a different sport at times, right? Like they were some of the best games in the regular season that I saw. It was like that with Dallas this year. Like those two teams are just and maybe it's just because whenever they get together with each other, they're just locked in 110% and they play the best they can play. But I just feel like, I think there's a scenario where we get into the Minnesota-Dallas series, and by game 4 or 5, it still goes pretty long, but we realize that Dallas is better. But I don't know. Minnesota, they're not really sure what's going on with their goaltending, but they have 2 guys that could just go nuts and win a series, and Quinn Hughes could win a series by himself. So it's, I think it's obviously going to be the best series in round 1 on either side. And, but I would lean towards Dallas. I was just in Dallas, whatever it was, 7 or 10 days ago, and there was still the kind of a prevailing theory, no disrespect to Minnesota, they're a great team, but these 2 teams are going to be back together again in a month.
Well, the only concern for Dallas is the Heiskanen and the Rupe Hintz. Those guys not in, that could be massive for the Dallas Stars. Especially Heiskanen, man. He is so good for them on the back end.
They could.
Yeah.
But they did beat the Avs last year in the first round without Miro.
No, that's true. Yeah, they did do that.
But yeah, no, it's a big deal.
Yeah. So awesome, Corey. Well, thanks so much for this, man. Enjoy the game tonight, and we get playoffs going in less than a week. Can't wait.
Yeah. Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
There you go. That's Corey Massasak, beat reporter for the Colorado Avalanche. When we come back, Mark Spector coming up after 5. We got 5 questions and more. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
5-time Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints, are excited to be back on the ice at the brand new Thompson Family Arena. Be part of the action and enjoy some of the best Junior Hockey Canada has to offer by experiencing a Saints game for your next outing. Tickets range from $10 to $17 with free parking and some of the best food and drink specials in town. For more information on tickets and how you can become a partner, go to sgsaints.ca.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meat, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
It's like a locker room, minus the smell. Kevin Carius brings the banter, the buzz, and the bold sports talk. Weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Sports 1440, Edmonton's home for sports.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. Use code 1440 for 15% off at notalonecode.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Bring into savings at the Brick. Refresh your home with huge discount. Save up to $1,800 on sofas and sectionals, and buy more, save more. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game. Save up to 40% off select mattresses and score free delivery when you use your Flexity card. Plus, save 50% when you buy 2 or more select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick. Proudly Canadian since 1971.
Hey, it's Jamie from Green Drop Lawn Care. From the big mall in the west to the Arena District downtown, Edmonton is beautiful. But when I see your lawns, I know one thing's for certain. Weeds are coming. Be proactive and take advantage of our early bird savings until April 30th.
Green Drop has been Canada's lawn expert since 1979. And they're in your community, keeping your yard looking beautiful with affordable lawn care packages that include fertilizer, weed control, drought fighter, and more. Visit greendrop.com.
Get ready, Edmonton. Professional golf is coming to Blackhawk Golf Club this fall. The ATV Classic, presented by Building Trades of Alberta, brings the stars of PGA Tour Americas to you. Enjoy the ATV Fan Zone, presented by Michelob Ultra, where golf meets festival vibes. A superior space to take in world-class competition. Upgrade to VIP-covered terrace seating with premium food and beverage options. September 17th to 20th. Tickets start at just $25, and the first 250 buyers receive a PGA Tours America commemorative gift. Get yours at atvclassic.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through April, great time of the year. If you're a sports fan, you got everything from golf, basketball, hockey, baseball, you name it. Football's right around the corner for us. You got auto racing going on, playoffs, and junior hockey and major junior hockey. And it's awesome, man. Maybe some of you, your kids are, well, I know baseball, like minor baseball. Whew, it's fired up. I think that is serious sport, man. I never played minor baseball. And my son, he likes playing wiffle ball and stuff with his buddies, but doesn't play baseball. He can't play every sport. But, man, I talked to a few parents on the weekend. I'm just like, how often kids are playing baseball. It's wild. 6 days a week. It's crazy stuff, man. But they love it. So if you like it, hey, keeps them out of trouble. It's all good. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where right now at The Brick, you can spring in to savings, upgrade your mattress, save up to 40% off select mattresses, and scoop free delivery when you use your Flexity card. Only at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1, of course, Oilers-Avs game day. Let's get a prediction with a bold pick in there as well.
This is really hard. Like the Avs don't have much to play for. You just heard from Corey that he felt all those guys sitting out could play if they needed to. So are the Avs are they going to go that extra mile that you need sometimes to win a game? I don't know. The Oilers, Leon Draisaitl even said it like, hey, we want to stay in our division, right? You want to finish top 3. And a loss tonight could put that in some jeopardy. So I'll say the Oilers win 4-3. And bold prediction, Podkolzin and Nugent Hopkins score a goal, which gives the Oilers 7 20-goal scorers for the first time since 1992.
Good pick. 92, hey?
Mm-hmm. Well, think about it. Like even in like good teams here, the Oilers, like that's why I chuckle. Oh, the Oilers don't have any depth. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you seriously talking about? Like, yes, they have lots of depth.
I'm also going to take an Oilers win. I mean, they better be hungrier tonight with this one, with all that is at stake. So, I'll say a 5-2 win, and I'm going to say Ike Howard gets on the score sheet as well in his return into the top 6 there. Question number 2 for you. As we sit today, looking at the games ahead, where do you think the Oilers finish in the Pacific, and who do you think their first-round opponent will be?
It's a good question, man. Well, they never seem to win the division, so I guess I got to go. I'll say second in Anaheim.
I'm going to say they win out. Vegas loses tonight, and Oilers get top spot, and that gives them Utah.
Okay.
I guess that's the route I'm going to go with. Question number 3 for you. Isaac Howard enters the lineup. I've already predicted him to score a goal. How much do you think we see him, and would you like to see him get some time on the power play?
Well, he could be on the second unit. He hasn't really practiced here a whole bunch. I'm not too worried about showcasing a player. They need to win, point blank, right? Their first unit power play plays a ton. I don't know if he's going to suddenly jump in on the first unit power play, having not practiced with them at all, really. Like, I know he skated there, but they didn't work on the power play today. So he might get some second unit time. And I'm not this. If this was early in the season, I'd have a much different answer. But right now, it's like, you're the Edmonton Oilers. They even said, like the coach said it, they're not playing, young guys. They're just, we got to win. It's that simple. So I could see him getting a little bit of second unit PP time, which is about 25 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing the first unit maybe shorten the shift just a little bit if they get the opportunity to give that second unit a try and have him out there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. Obviously, 22 goals down with the Condors this year, 45 games. So we know he can put the puck in the back of the net. Looking forward to see him getting an opportunity. Question number 4. You look ahead to the Masters next year. What do you think the chances are that Rory could make it 3 in a row?
Well, no one's ever done it, so I'm going to say pretty low. And I don't know. Scotty Scheffler will win next year, so I'm going to say 2%.
I'm going to go 12%. I liked what Rory did this year. It wasn't easy, right? It wasn't an obvious straight line win. There was some ups and downs in there as well, some pressure from some opposing players. Anytime you have a player versus the field, obviously it's going to be a low chance. But hey, Rory, he dialed in, got it done when it mattered. I was happy to see it for his sake. Question number 5 for you. Not a lot happened on what day is it? April 13th. But on this day in 2011, Gary Sinise narrated the book of Mice of Men. Have you ever listened to an audiobook? And if you had to, who would narrate it, and which book would it be?
I have never listened to an audiobook. I know that people do, and this is funny. I have a whole discussion. When they're like, "Oh yeah, I read a book." I'm like, "Oh yeah, well no, I listened to it." I'm like, "Well then you didn't read it," because it's completely different. It's not the same. Like, because when you read the book, you have a chance. Sometimes you reread it a page or two, or depending on sometimes maybe you clip out something. Like when you're listening to the audiobook, how do you, like, if there's a highlight of something that you really want to care about, how do you highlight it in your audiobook? So I've never listened to it because it's different. You don't, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I like listening to things, don't get me wrong, but not books. So I've listened to what I like listening to is like those investigative podcasts.
Yeah.
I like listening to those. Those are like, it's got my attention. I'm listening. You're kind of visualizing. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. How'd they do it? Like, I listened to one, the girl out of Toronto who, had a boy, killed her own parents. You're just like, what is happening to people? Like, I don't get it. But anyway, that one I found kind of fascinating. I actually ended up being on not 2020, but the other one. Anyway.
Dateline?
Yeah, Dateline. Yeah. And So no, but I guess if I did have to, who would I want? Well, I guess it kind of depends. Which book?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I would listen to an audiobook after I've read it, because now I'm like, I just want to listen to it. Probably going to go a little bit quicker. I know what's going on. So Tuesdays with Maury, great book by Mitch Albom. And who would I want to narrate it? Like Morgan Freeman's too easy, but like it's so comforting I might fall asleep. That's the problem, because his voice is so awesome. I would go with oh God. Matt Damon.
Good pick. Like you, I never have listened to an audiobook. I'm not opposed to it. I would help me get reading a little more. Not reading, sorry. It would help me consume more books for sure.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably look at one of the classics, Pride and Prejudice, maybe. War and Peace. Something I would never read. And then I need someone a little more upbeat, energetic. Maybe like I'll give you two: Ryan Gosling or Scarlett Johansson.
Okay.
Maybe the two I'd go for.
You know what? You know what I could listen to in an audiobook?
What?
War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
That's probably one, because I'm like, you know what? I don't need to highlight things in that book necessarily. Right? Because usually it's books that I'll go back to. And once you've read a book like that, it's hard to reread it sometimes. At least for me anyway. So I could see me maybe getting that book on audio. So I'd be curious of our listeners. Is there an audiobook that you felt was excellent just because of the genre that it was as an audiobook? Let me know. Because when I go now, it's getting into I walk way more outside, and I like to put on something sometimes. A lot of times I like to make sure I have a little bit of time just with myself, or you're enjoying nature or whatever, and just kind of having some thoughts from yourself, breaking down some things. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Every now and then you talk to yourself a little bit when you're walking, but I do need a good audiobook. I'd be interested in it. Or a really good kind of like crime mystery podcast. Either one, let me know. 833-401-1440.
Mr. Ballin is one for you.
Who?
Mr. Ballin.
What is that about?
He's on YouTube, and he just does like 45-minute videos, 30-minute videos of missing people, murder, crime, all that sort of thing.
Really?
Yeah. It's not bad.
Do they find them?
Sometimes.
Are they still missing?
Sometimes it's unsolved crimes as well.
No, those almost become the worst. I
forth.
invest all the time, and then at the end, it's like, yeah, they're still unsolved. What the hell?
Like unsolved mysteries?
No, yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, unsolved mysteries, but I knew going in it was unsolved. Like, it kind of gave it away in the title. I knew going in, okay, this is unsolved still. At least then it's different. But sometimes when you watch those Datelines or whatever, you're like, okay, it's going to come to conclusion. And then at the end, there's nothing. I'm like, what did I just watch this for an hour for? Like, it made you think, like, what do you think happened? What do you think happened? Well, it's irrelevant what I think happened. I want to know what happened.
I did start a new show last night, though.
Which one?
Well, it's not a new. X-Files. I'm going to watch the whole series.
With Mulder?
Yeah, and Scully.
Really?
First episode was pretty good. The pilot.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm going to try to run through this series next.
Well, what made you want to watch that show? What, just out of the blue?
You know what? It was just on Disney Plus. When I was younger, confession, kind of embarrassing, when the music came on, freaked me out. I was a lot younger, obviously, and I'd be like, run out of the room, like, nope, not watching this. And now I'm thinking it's time to do it.
Oh, so you're gonna conquer your fears.
Yeah.
Connor the Conqueror. Dun dun dun.
Face the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well, I was 6 when it came out. So.
Oh, well, yeah, I could see why. I like that your parents were allowing you to stay in the room and you just chose not to.
Yeah,
hey, Thomas, get over here. Maybe that's why Thomas would have stayed in the room. Now we call you Connor.
Lost my first name privileges.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad and sister watched it. I got out of there. But I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Mark Spector joins. We got a lot of good suggestions here coming in on the text line. I like it. Some good audiobooks. A few kind of mystery, crime mystery podcasts. Any good ones? Let me know. Let's get to the comment. Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. I can tell you right now, you go see Mike and the gang at the brand new Autoplex at Northgate GM. If you just want to go in there You just want a good deal. You don't need a Declan Kruger bag of jubes to get a deal. Just a good deal. Get it right now, northkgm.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
It's the game day Oilers and Avs down at Rogers Place. Puck drop 7:38. Our pregame coverage coming your way immediately following the Jason Gregor Show with Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson, and Landon Ferraro. Elsewhere, you got the Rangers taking on the Panthers. Jonathan Quick announcing his retirement. This will be his final start. Lining up against the Red Wings, Hurricanes, and Philly. Leafs host the Stars. Wild taking on the Blues. Preds, Sharks, Sabres in Chicago. Kraken host the Kings, and the Jets heading to Sin City. Major League Baseball, 3 games underway right now. Diamondbacks up on the Orioles 1-0. Phillies lead the Cubs 1-0, and then home Pirates trail the Nationals 1-0. Later on tonight, Yankees, Angels, Marlins head to Atlanta. You got the Twins and the Red Sox, Guardians, Cards, Athletics, Rangers, and the Dodgers host the Mets. Earlier today, Mariners got past the Astros by a score of 6-2. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and hear the latest edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy. Designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos. For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or on the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. For a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Sherwood Honda is home of the GOAT. That's your greatest offer all time. And they have plenty of pre-owned GOATs that they got on a trade. Every vehicle they sell goes through a 182-point inspection and comes with a vehicle history report. Because peace of mind is an essential part of getting your GOAT. And Sherwood Honda sure would want you to buy with complete confidence.
Welcome back to the Gregor Show. Sport.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
All this month, you can get in the swing of spring with Pot for Dough at Nisku Ford. Shop amazing deals on their entire in-stock inventory of cars, trucks, and SUVs. You're sure to find the perfect ride. Then, with every vehicle purchase, you'll get your turn to Pot for Dough. Just sink your putt to win fantastic prizes like gas cards, big screen TVs, Blackstone griddles, and more. See dealer for full details. Find your new ride at niskuford.ca. Above expectations.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Athletic Care. Injuries don't wait, and neither should you. 01 Athletic Care offers one-stop access to doctors, x-rays, and casting. It's expert musculoskeletal care covered by Alberta Health right in West Edmonton Mall. Move from injury to recovery. Book now at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Or, hey, Greg's, I just listened to Lord of the Rings read by Andy Serkis Gollum. The voices of the characters are so good. It's like listening to the movies. Michael. All right. See that. Be into that for sure. Welcome back, Gregor Show, presented by playalberta.ca. We are into the final week of the regular season. There's only 4 days left. And really, for some teams, there's only 2 days left in the regular season. Because, of course, we have 10 games in the NHL tonight, 9 tomorrow, then 6 on Wednesday, and 6 on Thursday. So the last 12 teams to play all in the Western Conference. On Thursday will be the Blues, Mammoth, Ducks, Preds, Sharks, Jets, Kings, Flames, Canucks, Oilers, Kraken, and the Avalanche. And then that's why, expect Eastern teams most likely. You could get a Central matchup. We could have the Wild and the Stars playing on Saturday, no question. Right? We know that's the one matchup we know, and they're not playing on Thursday. So Dallas finishes their season on Wednesday in Buffalo. So they could open at home. Minnesota's done on Tuesday. Montreal's done. Quite a few other teams are done on Tuesday as well. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Can always text us. It's the Gregor Show, presented by playalberta.ca, where you can get in, of course, your favorite Lotto Max lottery tomorrow night, $25 million at playalberta.ca. And while you're there, check out the Jason Gregor Show odds boost. So all of them today. We have a few different ones, all about the Oilers and the Avalanche game. As it's time now to get to Le Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists, and they are hiring, looking for pipe layers, top men, and operators. Go to gsconstruction.ca and check out careers. As Mark Spector joins us. Spec, you ever listen to an audiobook?
I have not really listened to an audiobook. No, are you doing that? How do you think about it?
No, I've never done it. I like reading it better. I do listen to I'll listen to mystery podcasts and true crime podcasts and stuff, but I don't know. I just find if I'm reading a book now, granted, I'm more of a nonfiction reader. And so lots of times, I'll take little tidbits of a book, and I quite like that stuff. So I'm just like, well, if I'm listening to the book, how am I highlighting anything? How am I I got my pages on my book like that, you bent over at the top crease. I want to go back. I want to find a certain page. So I can't really do that. I wouldn't think of my audiobook.
Yeah, kind of like the process of reading. Like half the reason you read a book is to relax. Right?
Yeah,
we don't relax enough anymore. We're always busy and doing stuff and looking at our phones, and information's everywhere. And the whole deal of reading a book is to turn everything else off and relax. So I don't need to hear someone talking at me. I'd rather read it myself.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. The Edmonton Oilers, it's wild. They could finish first. They could finish second. They could finish third. They could even finish fourth in the division, which would mean a date with Colorado to start the playoff. Not something they want to do, for sure. I know they're not scared of any team, but still, let's be honest. You don't want to face Colorado if you can avoid them for the first round. So, you got Colorado tonight. And I know Edmonton's missing guys. Colorado's missing guys. The Oilers you got to find a way to win here. The LA Kings got 3 pretty easy games here. And you don't win this one, that opens up the door for the Kings to actually pass you.
Yeah, it is. They've found themselves, and they haven't, I guess this is all those points that you didn't put in the bank, in October through sort of March 1st to me. Like, they've played real well since the Olympic break. They played good hockey. They've been a pretty good team. What are they, 6-2-1 in their last 9, I think?
Yeah.
You know, those are all good numbers. But the reason you're in this spot is because you left way too many points on the table in the first, 60 games of the season. So that's why you're here. And this is that's fine. They don't care if they finish first, second, or third. They do care if they finish fourth. No one wants to go through the Central. Why would you? It's way harder path. So as long as that doesn't happen to you, then you don't have to say, oh, I wish you were so much better earlier in the season. If something goes sour on you here and you end up in fourth place and we're flying to Denver on Saturday, oh boy, you'll regret your October, November. That's for sure.
Yeah, that is very true. Spec, after listening to Knobloch and knowing that Jason Dickinson, he didn't leave. He didn't go home, right? Usually when a guy's injured and it's kind of, you're like, oh God, the guy goes home to get reevaluated. He didn't. And I know they said they're going to wait till the season. I think they don't know, Spec, because you got some swelling, and we saw Jake Wallman earlier in the year, who they thought originally was just a bone bruise, and then after the swelling went down, turned out to be a hairline fracture. So maybe it's the same thing here with Dickinson. My understanding was he was in a walking boot, and now he's out of the walking boot, so it's progressing. So he still might be ready here, but Draisaitl doesn't sound like game one. There's a chance. Hyman seems most likely game one, but man, if Draisaitl and Dickinson aren't ready to go, even for 1 or 2 games, that's a pretty big blow to start the playoffs.
Oh, for sure it is. I mean, the big advantage that the Oilers hold over everybody they play is down the middle, right? Nobody has a better 1-2 punch than McDavid, Draisaitl. That's just a given. But when you add a solid, definitive third line center like Dickinson, who fits that role perfect, now you're better than everybody. You're better than a lot of teams in all 3 positions. So you lose two of those 3 guys. It's a new ball game, man. Like Knobloch said today, Szymanski's going to be Dickinson until Dickinson gets back. And that's great. It's nice to have Szymanski, and we all love the way he's turning into a player here, but he's like 5 years behind Dickinson, right? He ain't Dickinson, right? He's played 22 games in the league.
Yeah.
So, or whatever it is. So, I guess you have to deal with the injuries. In terms of beating the Oilers, you better get on them quick in the first round, because as those guys come back, they're obviously going to get a lot better.
Yes, very true. You looked at that LA game, Spec, and man, watching that game, I'm like, we had a lot of people text in, my God, I do not want to play the LA Kings. Not because they're scared of them, just because they're boring. What do you make of that Kings game on Saturday?
They did exactly what the Kings want to do, right? They get a lead on you 7 minutes in, and they sit on it the rest of the game. They win on 20 shots. And if you've got Hyman and Draisaitl, you score a couple goals and you knock them out of that game. Like, I'm the same. I'm like all your listeners. I don't want to watch the Kings play for 7 games or 5 games or 6 games, whatever it is either. I'm sick of watching the LA Kings play. I've written it a million times. I'll say it for one last time. When they had Jonathan Quick and Dustin Brown and Drew Doughty in his prime and all those great players on that team, they could play that style, right? They were dead boring when they were winning Stanley Cups. I mean, dead boring hockey. It was awful, a travesty to the game. But it won, so you can't, shut up, because they were winning. Well, now they're playing the same style. Their team's about a 10th as good. It doesn't win, and they're still playing the same style. So now you're just, in my opinion, they're just dumb. They're just dumb. Like, figure it out. You don't have Jonathan Quick anymore. Your players aren't as good. Kopitar's not in his prime. You don't have Dustin Brown. You don't have all those good, solid, hard, big, heavy Kings that won 2 cups. Now they're just playing a boring style that they can't win anymore. I don't know what they're doing. If I was running that team, I'd clean house.
Yeah, well, you do
telling you right now, a clean house.
Yeah, well, it's been an organizational viewpoint for quite a while. This is year 1.
How's it working?
Yeah,
how's it working?
Hey, I agree, but this is year 1 of the GM, right? Like, so I think you kind of look, and Kopitar's leaving. I think there's not that he was the problem, but now's the time, I think, that there's going to be a change. Like, I think, Spec, all I had to do was look at the acquisition of Artemi Panarin to tell me that the LA Kings are going to want to be attacking more, right? Like, I'd be very curious to see a Kings team with Panarin and Fiala in the lineup at the same time, right? Like, that was kind of the worst part for the Kings, is they got another offensive guy, and then Fiala got hurt like the next game, or no, sorry, he got hurt in the Olympics, right? So that was
Olympics,
so that was brutal for them. But I'm with you, man. The Kings are just meh. Now, a team that's the opposite in California, give me the Anaheim Ducks all day long because they're probably too loose, but they will give you chance after chance and they will exchange chances. Like, they're a fun team to watch if you like entertaining hockey.
Oh, for sure. And if you want to play, if you want to go out and run and gun, then they really remind me of the Oilers like 5 years ago. They're the Oilers when they just wanted to run and gun and play, and no one was interested in playing defense 6 years ago, whatever the number is. That's who they are. They'll figure it out. Like it's a lot easier to teach a bunch of really highly offensive, smart guys to figure out how to play some defense. Like look at how the Oilers have shut her down and figured out how to play a proper game of hockey the last 3-4 years, and lo and behold, they win series. So I like Anaheim a lot. They're not, I don't fear them yet, right? There's some lessons, right? We've watched this before, Jay. There's some lessons in Anaheim's future, in my opinion. They've got some learning to do. I'm not afraid of them yet. Give it a couple years, get back to me then. I might be afraid of them by then.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Well, hey, the Ducks, they got to get in spec, right? Like, they got Minnesota's resting all 8 guys tonight. Now, maybe they'll rest them all again tomorrow. We'll see, but they might be resting all their guys tonight, and then they got a home game tomorrow, and all of a sudden the Ducks got to beat the Wild with all their guys rested and their best players in the lineup. That could be tough. Right. And then if they lose that game, now if Nashville wins tonight against the Sharks, then suddenly that Thursday game for the Ducks could mean they're playoff live, for goodness sakes.
Well, they certainly don't want to, like, everyone's worried about falling to 4th place and having to play Colorado, because I think we'd agree that's 8 wasted days, like Daryl Sutter used to say. But I guess you could follow it all together. That's crazy. The Ducks have been good. I hope they make it. Like, I'm a big fan of what's happening down there. They've paid their dues. It's a classic rebuild, Jay. They've missed the playoffs for 7 years. They've drafted and developed, and they got a bunch of good, young, flashy players down there. And now they got to turn it into a team that can win in the postseason, and there's a process here. But I'd hate to see them miss out on that opportunity this year. They deserve a playoff spot. I hope they get one. And from there, let's hope they get enough games they can, see what happens. See what happens when they get there. You never know anymore, do you?
No, it's true. Mark Spector joins us. Spec, the other thing is, you notice Stastny didn't stay on the ice late today, which is usually a sign that you're not playing. But he left. And I wonder, I don't know if you saw Ekholm's last shift and how quick it was in that game. And so maybe that was just because he came on for the pull goal and then he was right back off. And but his previous shift, I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but normally the guys who aren't playing, they stay out a long time. And he didn't. And so I just wonder if we might see a Spencer Stastny tonight, or if somebody's banged up and they're just playing cautious to say, hey, don't waste yourself in the morning skate. Let's see what's going on, right? Because that is kind of abnormal. There's a few weeks ago when they didn't have enough guys, and Curtis Lazar stayed out late because we knew, he wasn't playing.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the old story for hockey, right? As we stand in the room and the guys that once we've been in there 5 or 6 minutes, if the player if his equipment's not in his stall, we go, I guess he's not playing tonight because he's out there working. Like, that's traditional hockey knowledge. Why does he come off early? Is he playing tonight? If I'm the Oilers, when's the last time Spencer Stastny played in a game?
Yeah, but I'm not playing him tonight against Colorado. I'd wait till Thursday.
Not necessarily, but I feel like I wouldn't mind getting him in a game this week. That's all I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Someone could be hurt, sure. Then I got to put him in. I may, maybe the coach wants to look at who's playing for the other team, and maybe that's how he's going to make his decision. Colorado is a few guys tonight. Maybe you look at them in warm up and you go, well, maybe if a bunch of guys aren't playing, I am going to play Stastny. I don't know how they're going to do it, but we're at the time of year where you'd also like to get Jarry a game. Are you going to do it if these games turn out to be life and death? Probably not.
No.
But given a choice, you'd love to give Jarry that Vancouver game heading in the playoffs, but
yes,
can't always get what you want, right?
No, and realistically, you would look and say, hey, we should be able to beat Vancouver regardless of who's in net, right? That should be it. But I understand why they say, no, we got to win. And if that comes what it comes down to, now lots has to happen between then and now for that to be a must-win game for the Oilers. So we'll see. But I feel like if the Oilers,
if the Thursday night game comes around and Edmonton is guaranteed third place, and from there it's whatever, then I'm not sure they care that much. If there's any risk of being in fourth place, then they care a whole bunch. Then they're really going to care on Thursday night. It'll be all hands on deck. They ain't finishing fourth around here and going to Colorado for sure.
Well, you would hope not, Spec. You would definitely hope
would
not.
hope
What'd you make of the Masters?
Lots of fun as usual. I'm glad I wasn't the only guy that wondered what happened to those last two important shots on 18 that the cameras never found. Like I was like, is this just me? Like, where's the ball? And that's odd because they're so good. Those camera guys are so good. So, but it's fun. I love that Rory had. I love that he had to really overcome some adversity. Like, it didn't just come when people said after 2 rounds, "Oh, it's up by 6, it's over." I thought, come on, man. There's always something that bites you at the Masters. There's always a few bad holes, and all of a sudden, on whatever it was, the 4th hole, he's in second place by a couple shots. I thought, okay, now that's that. He came back. He had a really good finish to his tournament. He earned the win. I like that. He didn't get it easy. He had to work for it. Everybody likes Rory. I don't know. Like, what do golf people think? I'm a Rory fan. He seems like a nice bloke. I love the visuals of all those guys in Ireland, Guinness, watching them play. It looked like they're having fun.
Oh, yeah. You think? I would definitely think so. So no, like, it's, for him to become only the 4th guy in PGA history to go back to back at the Masters is a pretty big deal. And even Rory talked about it. I really like this post game comments, just how, or post tournament comments about how, like, no one ran away with it. Like, sometimes you can play well in golf, but sometimes you end up having to chase someone. Like, Scheffler was coming from behind, but he was always in chase mode, right? And Rory did have to go in chase mode for a brief time, but when he did, the other guys would bogey, or in some case double bogey, and that allowed him to get right back in it.
Yeah, I think a year ago somebody shot like a 66 on him in the last round, and he had to really struggle to.
That was Rose.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're right. That didn't happen. The rest of the field, nobody came out of that field and shot a 66, 67 on the Sunday. But you know what? The Masters is fun. I mean, after 4 days of the syrup and the piano music, I think I'm ready to move on. I get a little sick of all the faux history and all the pictures of the azaleas when we know there's a guy with a heat gun that's making them open up before the camera comes along. Like, I had about enough of that after 4 days, but who doesn't love the Masters? Come on. It's a great course. It's it's a major, and there's so many Sundays. If you want to watch golf, these guys are shooting, 10 under. Not at Augusta, right? Augusta still challenges these guys, and that's what makes it sort of a memorable tournament, right?
Yeah, no, very true. Spec, so if I have to give you a game right now, so I'm going to say the player's name, tell me what game he's going to play in the playoffs. Zach Hyman.
Game 1.
Yeah, I would agree. Leon Draisaitl.
Game 3.
Game 3. Yeah, I was going to say 4. Okay. Jason Dickinson.
Oh, now I'm just guessing. Jason Dickinson, I'll hope for better than this, but I think he might be a round 2 guy.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to say Dickinson is game 3. So we shall see.
And Max Jones, they better
he's
get to
out
a
3 to 4
final.
weeks. Yeah, 3 to 4 weeks.
They better get to the conference final if he's going to play.
Yeah, and I'm not
listen, a bunch of injuries.
Yeah. Oh, lots. But they got a lot of depth, right? That's a good thing, right? Like, you get Doc back and, Lazar back, and they got some, like, a lot of their guys who were hurt back and early in the year who weren't playing well. A lot of those guys are playing better right now for the Oilers. Like, that Doc Frederick combination has been really good.
Yeah, I think Oilers fans are certainly, I think they're going to fall in love with this Doc kid as he plays and the games get, I think playoff hockey is going to be right up his alley because there's more contact and there's more emotion. I really like his game. I really think Bowman found a guy that plugs a spot that this Oilers team hasn't had enough of. They haven't had young guys that run around hitting people and they're ready to fight and give you a little emotion. And I think that's awesome. Him and Max Jones isn't a young guy anymore, but he's become that player. This is the best he's played in his career. It's a real shame for him to be out. But I like this Doc kid, man. I think Edmonton fans are going to fall in love with him, and hopefully he stays around for a while. He's a local boy. Like, what more do you want?
Yeah, no, he's been good. Him and Frederick as a combination, both. I think it feeds off each other. When you got a few crash and bangers together, it's a little bit easier to play that role. Spec, enjoy it. Have a good one. We will see you at the arena for a 7:38 puck drop tonight.
Hey, sounds good, partner.
It's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. We'll come back. We got a lot of texts to get to. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. What about you? Concerned at all, Oilers, like on where the Oilers finish? When you think about it, like the LA Kings win tonight, the Oilers lose. The Kings are one back with the game in hand. Suddenly, now the Kings are in the driver's seat. And the Kings are the wild card team. So it is, you can't sleep on how big tonight's game is for the Edmonton Oilers. Like, I know they've clinched a playoff spot, but you don't want to clinch a playoff spot and that playoff spot be the first round against Colorado Avalanche. Like, that is not the ideal clinching of a playoff spot. We'll come back with more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. Use code 1440 for 15% off at notalonecode.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Spring into savings at The Brick. Refresh your home with huge discounts. Save up to $1,800 on sofas and sectionals. And buy more, save more, up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game and save up to 40% off select mattresses and score free delivery when you use your Flexity card. Plus, save 15% when you buy 2 or more select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, proudly Canadian since 1971.
Everything is going to be okay. Any business, regardless of size, can stumble occasionally. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. If your business is facing financial challenges, our team of chartered insolvency and restructuring professionals have corporate debt recovery solutions that work. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. Chances of a positive outcome increase if you engage Faber sooner rather than later.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the 2 best names in the boots business.
Measles outbreaks are occurring in Canada, including Alberta. These outbreaks are highly preventable. Measles is an extremely contagious disease that is spread easily through the air. The best way to protect yourself, your family, and your community is to ensure you are up to date with your immunizations. Don't get measles. Get immunized. Visit alberta.ca/measles to find out if you're up to date and what to do if you're not. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Why should you drive a Subaru? How about durability, style, and an excellent customer experience from the moment you step into the showroom? And how about accolades, including awards for numerous 2026 Subaru models from both AutoTrader and JD Power? But don't just take my word for it. Take a test drive and you'll see why the Subaru name is recognized and renowned for quality. To learn more, visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Sports. Of course, you have the WNBA draft going on tonight. You also have the NHL final Monday of the regular season. The most games in one night all week, 10 tonight, 9 tomorrow, 6 on Wednesday, 6 on Thursday. And then, boom, we are into the playoffs, which start on Saturday. Oilers are either going to be a Sunday or a Monday start for them this postseason. Games that matter tonight underway. The Hurricanes, that's one. Right now, if you're a fan of the Capitals and you're a fan of the Blue Jackets, you really need a Carolina win in regulation. They're up 1-0. Carolina wins. They secure first place in the Eastern Conference. Second in the NHL. They can't catch can't catch Colorado. And if they win tonight, that I think locks them up for Dallas couldn't catch them either. I'm pretty sure that they couldn't. So we'll see. Either way, Flyers lose. Then tomorrow night, the winner of the Columbus Washington game would then move ahead of Philly. Because if it's Columbus who wins, Columbus has to win in regulation. I should point that out. If they win in overtime or shootout, guess what? Washington gets a point. Now they all would have 94 points, and Washington has a tiebreaker because they have 36 regulation wins, 10 more than the Flyers. So you can make an argument. And think about it. If Washington can get in, guess who would meet in the first round? Washington and Pittsburgh. Oh, man, I'll tell you that. If I'm the Penguins, I do not want the Capitals. Logan Thompson being great. Like how the Capitals, they've won a lot of games. They don't have a lot of overtime losses or anything like that. I shouldn't say that. The Flyers only have 3 more than them, same with Columbus. But Washington has 36 regulation wins. Columbus has 28. Philly has 26. The difference is those two, Washington just doesn't get to overtime as often, right? They have 4 overtime regulation wins and 2 shootout wins. That's it. But Carolina wins tonight. Now, Montreal, they would play their final game, and they would have something to play for because them and Tampa Bay, regardless of what Buffalo wins tonight, then Montreal can't catch Buffalo. But they could be battling with Tampa Bay for home ice. So that would become a massive game. So the Flyers, like, as great as they've played, they got a real tough stretch here tonight and tomorrow. Carolina and Montreal. So just for drama, I would like to see the Hurricanes win. I know that sucks, Flyer fans. I'm sorry. But I'm just talking from a drama perspective. And now the Rangers are playing the Panthers. Jonathan Quick announces this is his last game in the National Hockey League, and not a great start for him as he has allowed 2 goals on 5 shots, so 6 shots now, but allowed 2 goals in the first 5 shots of the game to the Florida Panthers of all teams. So, but Jonathan Quick, what a career! And we've had. Do you think Jonathan Quick's a Hall of Famer? Like he won 2 Stanley Cups. goaltenders, it's hard for goalies to get into the Hall of Fame. Right? It just is. And so you look at all time, like obviously Marc-Andre Fleury, he's going to be an easy one to get in. He's second in wins. He's got Stanley Cups. Roberto Luongo took a long time to get in. Ed Belfour, Connor, he's not in the Hall. Is Ed Belfour in the Hall of Fame? I can't remember. I think he is. Or is he not? No, I don't think he is.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. Okay, good. I was right. Yeah. Lundqvist is in. Bobrovsky's
no, he was 2011.
Oh,
Sorry.
Ed's in?
Yeah.
Okay. But Curtis Joseph isn't in.
No.
Right now, he didn't win a cup. So, and I don't love that. Cups are team awards more than personal awards. But Jonathan Quick is going to retire in his career, 12th most wins in NHL history. I do think, and some people might not like this, but look at his birth certificate. And I do think that comes into play sometimes because he's doing something that no one else has ever done as an American. He was the first goalie from the U.S. to win 400 games. I think that he might have to wait a bit, but I think that probably is going to get him in. I think it's going to help him a bit because he's American. Some people don't like that, but that's just that it factors in. I'm telling you, it does. For others, right? Like there's so many great Canadians all time that have done a lot of different things. So, it'd be hard to, hey, guess what? I'm going to have the most wins by a Canadian. Unlikely because of Marty Brodeur or Marc-Andre Fleury or Patrick Waugh. All three are Canadian. So, Roberto Luongo. Ed Belfour. So, yeah, I think that could help him get him in. Now, I would make an argument that maybe he should get in anyway. And, when you look at Curtis Joseph, why he's not in yet. So, but Quick, pretty solid career. There's no doubt about it. I think Sergei Bobrovsky, when his career's said and done, he's going to get in. I think Bobrovsky's got a really good chance to become the fourth goalie with 500 wins. He's already at 456. Like, set a 912 career save percentage, which is exact same as Marty Brodeur, exact same as Marc-Andre Fleury, a little bit better than Patrick Waugh. So, yeah. He'll get in. So that's the other game tonight, at least in the East for has no playoff implications, but just kind of a fun one. Tampa Bay is currently losing at home to Detroit. Detroit has nothing to play for, Cons, and now they're winning. I'm sure Red Wing fans are ecstatic about that one. Hey, Greggs, I thought the Kings can't catch the Oilers. How's that possible? Well, they can. They're only 3 points behind them, and LA has a game in hand. Right? The Kings have 87 points. The Oilers have 90 points. Let's play the if game. If LA wins in regulation tonight in Seattle and the Oilers lose at home in regulation, now Edmonton has 90 points with 1 game to go, and LA has 89 points with 2 games remaining. They play Vancouver and Calgary Tuesday, Thursday. Edmonton plays Vancouver on Thursday. So if the Kings win tonight and then they win tomorrow and the Oilers lose tonight, suddenly the LA Kings are ahead of the Edmonton Oilers, each with a game to go. So, yeah, it's a big game tonight for Edmonton. Do not sleep on this game tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Yeah, they clinched a playoff spot, but LA's got the second wildcard spot. They're in, I know now, Anaheim is below Edmonton. But still, LA jumps you, you're losing a home ice advantage. And I know they've beaten the Kings without home ice advantage. I totally understand it. But, hey, Greggs, does Quick have 3 Stanley Cups? Well, yeah, he does, but he didn't play the year they won with Vegas, right? So I kind of look at it as 2, right? Yeah, he was on the roster. Yes, he has a ring, but that's why, to me, I can't look and say, oh, Jonathan Quick, 3 Stanley Cup rings. Like, but why? Like, does the third one, no offense, does that really count? Yes, you have a ring, but you didn't really do anything in the playoffs. So no, I wouldn't, me personally, I wouldn't get that. I wouldn't use that as a big one, right? Like he didn't even play in the playoffs, but he gets a ring because he was on the team.
Names on the cup too.
Yeah. So that's, I think, great example of why I don't use cup. Like it's a part of the equation. It's not a must for me. So quick break. We'll come back. We'll get to Cam Tate. 2-minute warning. Some more stats on the Oilers, the Avs, and a little preview about tomorrow. The Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Join play-by-play announcer Ben Shulman for the game live on Sports 1440. The Toronto Blue Jays are on Edmonton's home for all things sports. Sports 1440.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or on the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
Free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. For a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Get ready, Edmonton. Professional golf is coming to Blackhawk Golf Club this fall. The ATP Classic, presented by Building Trades of Alberta, brings the stars of PGA Tour Americas to you. Enjoy the ATP Fan Zone, presented by Michelob Ultra, where golf meets festival vibes. A superior space to take in world-class competition. Upgrade to VIP-covered terrace seating with premium food and beverage options. September 17th to 20th. Tickets start at just $25, and the first 250 buyers receive a PGA Tours America commemorative gift. Get yours at atvclassic.com.
In like a lion or like a lamb, out like a goat. That's greatest offer of all time with Sherwood Honda. While there's plenty of goats on the lot, you can also custom order yours. Pick your Honda model with the color, interior, trim, and technology for the ride you've always wanted. Sherwood Honda can help you build and price your new Honda to make it the greatest order of all time. Pre-ordering sure would be simple and satisfying with help from Sherwood Honda.
Mr. Rooter sees a UFO.
Mr. Rooter says 1 plunge, 2. What's this? A UFO? An unidentified floating object. It's beginning to glow and levitate.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter. You have freed us from the gravity of the white hole. Humanity will be spared.
Wow! People aren't going to believe this when I put it in our new commercial.
If you want to believe in a plumber, call Mr. Rooter.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers' push to the playoffs is on, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play, score, and win every game. See more at ontherocks.yeg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Coming up, the pregame show, you have Walker and Paulson. The Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. If you miss it for the Edmonton Oilers tonight, their lineup will be, of course, McDavid with Podkolzin and Matt Savoy. You will have Nugent Hopkins with Isaac Howard. and Roslovic. Szymanski with Frederick and Doc. Henrique with Kapanen and Lazar. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse Murphy, Wallman and Emerson. Although don't count out a chance of Stastny coming in the lineup. Connor Ingram will start in goal. Meanwhile, for the Avalanche, Lehkonen, McKinnon, and Landeskog, Nichushkin, Nelson, and Natchez. Although Natchez and Landeskog could switch as the game goes. Roy with Garavanta and Colton. Drury, Kelly O'Connor with Taves and Malinsky. Kulak, Burns, Akan, and Blankenberg, excuse me, as both Manson and Makar and Kadri are out. Brent Burns is going to play his 1,005th consecutive game tonight. Vasily Podkolzin is the Oilers' current leader in consecutive games played. 165. Former Oiler Brett Kulak, he'll play his 368th consecutive game tonight. That ranks 9th amongst active skaters. So Brent Burns, again, is at 1,005. There's only one guy who's just over halfway, and that's Nick Suzuki, who's at 535. So you just do the math in your head. Guy needs like almost 7 more straight seasons just to catch him. So that is like, it's really impressive that Brent Burns, at his age, he hasn't missed a game in his 30s. And now he's in his 40s. So he plays tonight. He'll obviously play the next game. That gets him to 1,006. And then he would have the offseason. Then he would have the opportunity to chase down Phil Kessel. He would need 59 consecutive games to start next season to break the record. And in that time, by the way, in his 1,005 games, Brent Burns has averaged 23 minutes and 30 seconds a night. This is not a guy, like, that's totally different than a forward, right? Like, I'd like to look back at Phil Kessel's games played and what his minutes were in those games of 1,005. Like, it's not close to 23. I can tell you that right now. So, we'll see where it goes. Hey, Gregor, did you happen to do you have Chris Pronger on? We do. Can you ask him about the part in his book about when he signed with the Oilers? I don't want to give any spoilers. Oh, I will ask him. He will be on our show on Wednesday in the 2:00 hour. Okay. We also have got a few other former NHLers coming on the show leading up to the playoffs tonight and tomorrow. So that should be good. Quick early scores there after the first period. And Capitals fans, Blue Jackets fans, Hurricanes are leading the Flyers 2-0. As Nikolai Ehlers has his 25th on the power play, and Bradley Nadeau scores his third. The Connor Geekie just scored his first goal with the Lightning. First goal of the season. As they have tied Detroit 1-1 late in the first. The Rangers are down 2-1 to Florida. Dallas doesn't mean anything. The next game that means something tonight will be the Sharks and the Predators. Then Buffalo's playing for first place in their division. The Avalanche and the Oilers. Oilers obviously are playing for position in the Pacific and even the wild card. Crazy. Kings and Kraken and the Jets and the Golden Knights. So Kings and the Oilers game start at basically the same time. And then a half an hour later, you'll have Vegas and Winnipeg going at it. Cons, I know you're watching the WNBA draft, you and Declan. Any surprises at all?
No, I don't think so. Seems to be going in the order as expected. The Toronto, what's her name? Dumb name. They took Kiki Rice out of UCLA. National champion, played there for 4 years. Point total went up. The Tempo. Yeah. Dumb name. Dumb uniforms.
You never drove a Tempo back in the day?
No, couldn't afford it. But no, I don't.
Why don't you like the Tempo? You got to play with Tempo. You got to play with pace.
I don't know. Just doesn't seem like a very good name. And now I'm a Mystics fan, so things change quickly around here.
Why are you a Mystics fan?
Well, we drafted Lauren Betts out of UCLA. She's 6'7". I think she's going to be the next force in the league. So
Yeah,
Just get the ball inside to her.
So your girl that was the one Connor was like,
Yeah.
whoever drafts her, that's what I'm cheering for.
That's my new team.
That's your new team, the Mystics.
I was a fan of the Merc for a while, but
Okay.
they couldn't put it together, so I'm going Mystics. She's 6'7". She's also a Bruin, so a lot of Bruins being drafted. I guess that's what happens when you win a natty. But I think all in all, pretty much as expected. Maybe Duncan wants to jump in, but looking like we got pretty much as expected in the WNBA draft.
Guys, I can't believe Burns snuck onto the Avs. Well, I don't know if he snuck on. Like, Brent Burns has been a really good player. Like, you know what? He's in Carolina for a long time. Now, their system, some people felt like it didn't work, and they're like, oh, Burns, you know what? Yeah, well, if you're going to play an up-tempo and the guy's 40, maybe it doesn't work. But Brent Burns and Manson have been a very good defensive pairing for the Avs. Now, they won't be paired tonight because Manson's not playing. He left the game against Vegas, upper body, but it sounds like it's nothing serious. This is just them being cautious. They have the advantage of the games meaning nothing for them, so they won't play. Now, the game, there's always something. You can look at anything, right? Scott Wedgwood, for him, trust me, the game means something. He wants to send another message to his head coach. Hey, I'm right here. I should be the starter in game one. Marty Necas is looking to have his first 100-point season of his career. And you know that his teammates want to get, when you get that close to a milestone, all the players know how hard it is. Like Marty Necas' career high prior to this season was 73 points, right? He had 71 in Carolina. Then last year, he split between Carolina and Colorado. He had 55 points in 49 games in Carolina, and then had 28 in 30 games with Colorado. So a pretty good season. But now he's got a career high, 38 goals, 99 points. He's plus 45. It's been a pretty good year. So now he can get to 100. So trust me, he wants to get it. His teammates want to get it. That is something to battle. Hey, Greg's, is tonight's game on Prime? Honestly, you know what? No, it's on Sportsnet West. So I think the Prime game is Toronto and Dallas. Cons, you can double check that, but that's what I think it is. So no, the orders are on Sportsnet West tonight. So there you go.
Yeah, Dallas Toronto's a Prime game.
That's the Prime game tonight?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. I have to say, the Prime broadcasts, I don't think they've been Prime to speak open honestly. Like, I found it a few times I've watched it, like it's buffering. I don't like it. If you're going to pay for it and you're going to provide a service, you cannot have a game buffering. Just can't do it. Or like, I know there's a rare time where your cable will bleep out for a second. Doesn't happen very often. Not nearly as much as the buffering goes. And the thing about the buffering was it kind of depended on where you're at. So I don't know. I just I found it was not as consistent as I would like. Cons, what about you?
The one time I had it, it actually was pretty good, actually.
Okay.
Well, I've watched it a few times, obviously. For me, it's been okay. There was a time it pixelated, but overall, I can't be too harsh on it. I also noticed if you watch on your phone or your tablet, it's pretty good also.
Like better?
Yeah, clearer picture. Didn't have too many issues with that. But who wants to watch on your phone when you have a TV there, right?
God, no.
Exactly.
I respect people who do it. I just can't handle it. I find it's just too small. Why am I watching on my phone?
Well, my reason was Benny was there. We don't want him watching TV, so I just secretly watch it on my phone, and it came through nice and clear.
All right.
On the TV, I have seen it get a little pixelated.
Yeah. Now, the other thing is, can you record it on Prime?
You can go back and watch it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. So same thing. Hey, Greg's, which team has the most injuries going to the playoffs? Darcy. Well, talk to me when the playoffs start, Darcy, because honestly, we don't know. Like, when is Leon Draisaitl going to be back? If he misses one game, it's one game. If he misses 5 games, well, that's a big difference, right? Rupe Hintz, we know for sure he's not starting game 1 for Dallas. Miro Heiskanen, they don't know. But the reports are debatable at best if he's going to play. So if you don't have Hintz or Heiskanen, I'm not sure the team that has 2 more major injuries to start a series. Right, Zach Hyman's expected to be ready for game 1. Now, if he isn't, Oilers are right at the top of the list too, with Hyman and Draisaitl, and maybe Jason Dickinson. So now Max Jones, yeah, I heard Max Jones was playing well, but if everybody was healthy, would Max Jones be in the lineup ahead of Doc? Good debate. Right? Good debate. Hey, guys, why is Halley allowed to watch TV, but the boy isn't? Cheers. Well, because he's really young, king of Fort Nasty, and it's not good for his eyes. Right? All the eye doctors would tell you that. Not great. So that's why. Connor's eyes, they're old and dying anyway.
Busted.
So they're fine. So there you go. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Enjoy the game tonight. We have the pregame show coming up right now with Walker and Paulson. Then I'll have all the post-game reaction. The Oilers, you will be sleeping well, or Oiler fans, you might be a little nervous depending on what happens in their game, and the game that goes on at the exact same time, LA and Seattle update on all of them. Let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs, they have it. Over 71 different locations. Go to goauto.ca, find the car that's right for you. Any color, any brand, goauto.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. Oilers and Avs down at Rogers Place. Puck drop set for 7:38. Pre-game coverage coming up next with Walker, Paulson, and former NHLer Landon Ferraro. Game's going on right now after 20 minutes. Red Wings and Lightning tied at 1. The Panthers have a 2-1 lead over the Rangers. Flyers at home trail the Canes 2-0.